Hello and welcome to KJC eSports Updraft. My name is Gen and I'm here with the Doom Datum. We are your shoutcasters for today's semifinals. Zercus eSports versus Reform eSports, two teams that were really hot on their trail back in the quarterfinals.
I gotta be honest with everyone. I'm still hungover from yesterday's matchup. You guys get paid versus S2 Esports. It was the match of the millennium, if I would say so by myself. But we're back with Updraft, another fresh matchup for you tonight, ladies and gents. And it's actually one of the biggest matchups of the Updraft so far because we've got very high profile teams competing tonight. But before I tell you about the teams and the players, I'd like to tell you about our sponsors. This event is co-organized with Cyberport, the go-to creative digital community with a cluster of technology and digital content tenants in Hong Kong. And of course, sponsored by Vertigear, the top gamer chair brand trusted by many esports teams. Long hour, no back pain, comfortable chairs for home office and gaming. Get yours now at vertigear.com. And of course, go to shop. Purchase app and game credits or vouchers online and choose from the most convenient payment methods in the Philippines. With Go to Shop, you have instant and guaranteed delivery. Now, again, back to the matter at hand. What you got for me for these two teams?
Yeah, these two teams, as I said, they're hot on their trail. But hey, don't forget to check out our socials as well. KJC Esports, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our very own website. Stay updated with the Valorant scene in SEA and maybe even more. Now, going back into the map picks here, our first map of today's semifinals best of three will be Ascent. Now, I'm surprised Ascent got through and was not banned because Zercus Esports, this is where they play their quarterfinals and this is where they 13-1'd Nongkrong Kilat.
Oh yeah, you said it yourself. They were absolutely stomping in Ascent in Monday during the quarterfinals, and now they'll be starting it off on the attacking side. So that's gotta be honest, a bit of an advantage for Reform Esports in game number one. Well, of course, because defensive side on Ascent, but that also gives the avenue to Zercus to showcase just how they could perform on the attacking side. Because as we all know, with experience comes a lot of strategies on the attack. So Zercus, I'm expecting them to perform, but Reform, this is Reform, man. I am expecting them to give Zercus a run for their money.
Yeah, this is Reform Esports. Since they did let Ascent pass through, that means they are playing confidently. Maybe they watch the VOD and they know what the strats will be coming into. So I'm looking forward to how Reform Esports will reform the matchup against Zercus.
Absolutely. And the second map is going to be split with Reform on the attacking side. And then the decider, the third map, if we ever go to it, is Haven. And going back to the first one, Ascent, what are you expecting in terms of agents? Because already the interesting picks are coming up.
I'm expecting KO, of course. This is starting to become a staple when it comes to Ascent. Of course, Chamber is always around whenever you want him to,
Choose
but
your
it doesn't look like
agent.
any of these two teams will be playing with the new guy. So we will see this KO with the pretty much the knife to silence out any Killjoy bots or turrets to try and push up a lot easier into this A side. So especially since he's got the flash as well. This man's the initiator. And it looks like we're seeing an almost mirror matchup here. Just a difference with their Sova actually being picked up by Circus and Astra. Never mind, not an almost mirror matchup. We do see more information coming out from our attackers.
Absolutely. But typically we see a KO paired up with an Astra, right? Because Astra has, well, is Astra. Basically, one of the most powerful controllers when it comes to defense. Of course, has been toned down by a lot with the recent patch, which is why we're seeing disrupts on that Omen, which makes a lot of sense as well. But I'm actually quite surprised that it's on the attacking side that Zercus opted for the Astra instead of the other way around. But hey, at this stage of the meta, this is pretty normal.
Yep, and we already see here the attackers playing the usual default. We see Reply for Zercus Esports just holding down the lurk while the rest of the team just opts onto the other side of the site. So it might be just a push on this A side, but good thing for Reform Esports. Looks like they will be expecting an A side push, and they've already bundled up 3 of their members here with the Jet and the KO.
Mm, that is true. But we are headed to a bit of a pause here, ladies and gents. It's a technical pause, so stay tuned and sit tight because we are just about to start with our action. And before we start with the game, let's have a little pre-game pause podcast. How are you feeling, my friend?
Oh, I'm feeling good right now. I just joined the giveaway I sponsored over here. We're at KJC eSports, my exclamation point giveaway. Because this is season 1 of our Updraft. This is all thanks to our official giveaway sponsor, Coda Shop. 5 people gets a chance for $20 worth of Valorant points, and one lucky winner will get $100 worth of Valorant points. But that's not all, Datum. I heard Vertigear also has their own giveaway.
Absolutely. If you are one of our viewers from Singapore, make sure to join our Vertigear chair giveaway. Of course, who doesn't want a free Vertigear chair, man? Make sure to type exclamation point giveaway in chat, and the links will be brought up there for you as well as the instructions. Now, we're going to start with the game. It seems like it is going to be an A hit with one lurk for Zercus going into the middle side of things, guarding B site, so that no one supposedly gets a bit confident with the push from Reform. But speaking of the pushes, here we go. 2 members, Eugene and Disrupt, pressing an issue down in A main. They will quickly be shut down by Cons picking up Disrupt. Tailwind safety is where Cons will be. He will pick up 2 in that process, leaving us with a 3-on-3.
Yep, equalizing immediately the score. Now it's the middle fight, the Killjoys to play with. The alarm bot is there for Nazby, so Reply will be spotted here and will be using up a lot of his bullet. The reload comes in, so Nazby should hear this, but he does not opt for the push. So now he's just gonna be pushing up really closer. Shotgun is about to give him the cover, and Eugene from the middle already shutting down the push. And that will be the first round for Reform Esports.
After the 3-on-3 commenced, Reform, nobody fell after the fact, and it's just a clean first round for Reform. Definitely showing us that they are formidable on the defensive side in Ascent. And of course, Eugene S was beautiful on that defense with him and Disrupt pulling up the aggressive shenanigans. This is the type of thing that I love seeing in small maps like this, because, well, this is one of the few maps. These are the maps where you can absolutely make this work. Go for the push, go for the unexpected play real early on. The enemy will be caught off guard on the defense. And I love it already. Reform starting things explosively, and Zercus, they're answering back on this sort of a this eco, not sort of, but Onazumi doesn't find anything out of pushing that smoke, leaving Worship all alone to fend for himself in this boathouse B side, getting pummeled from everywhere as he picks up one. Everyone's low health, but he doesn't make anything more out of the Spectre. Eugene S here finally still a 3-on-3 here again on the post plant.
Yeah, it's such a scattered and explosive push coming out from Zercus Esports, and that gives them the spike planted. If this was just an eco round, and they should be happy with the results already. If they can do so much more damage and delay the push coming out from the enemy team, especially with that no command on the silence by the KO, that should sound Gazors as well. That's everyone muted. No more utilities to try and enter it. They have to enter it dry, and that's exactly what Zercus wanted them to do. They win their eco round. We're looking like a back-to-back game today.
I mean, it's sort of is the same tune as a
Not like this.
for best of threes, and I'm getting comfortable here again because we might be in it for another long night of Valorant. And I am all for it. Zercus, very clean round number 2. They only picked up. Remember, nobody actually went for the Spectre Force buys, and they all went for the Sheriffs. I think only 3 members for that matter, but they were able to make that work. Picking up a recon. It spots everyone out from Zercus. They're all gonna back off.
Obscuring vision.
Yeah, despite the 0-point spotting 3 of Reform Esports, there was a counter recon bolt coming out from them. Spot all 5. Now they have to run into the short side where Disrupt was holding on to with this frenzy. With that fire rate of a pistol, you will be able to catch one off guard before he falls away, and now he's been closing up the door onto them. Now it's just Nazby will be holding up from the heaven side of the A side, but the train just keeps going for Zercus Esports, looking like they want to finish up on this A side. There's no Disrupt will be the man holding down.
Spike down.
Disrupt makes the frenzy work and goes to town. Reply.
I don't like it, man.
Anything to say for it, and here we go again. It's just round number 3, and I'm already starting to lose my mind once more.
Beautiful play coming out.
How do we keep getting this again? I mean, we're so lucky.
Find the term lucky right now, but we are lucky that we are watching some hot Valorant. Eugene S with already so many of those frags, he was able to bring out the Blade Storm very early on with just round 3 there. It's the first ultimate to be popped, and he works it out with so much value.
Oh, look, Zercus is still barely got anything creds-wise. They'll be opting for a half buy right now with Cass with a bit of a hero buy. Cons can activate the blades if he wants to.
Get out of
And
my
here we
way.
go again. Eugene S. Oh,
Got him.
pushing up, picking up Cass quite so easily.
Yeah, Gador is with that 0-point spot. All three members here on this A side. He makes a cheeky push with his flash, but Retner with the stinger who will shut him down. Disrupt was unable to give him some cover at that time, but the trade's still there. Aljo will be popped off by Zercus eSports. That spots Disrupt. Now they know he's still holding onto this A side. They're waiting for Eugene to make another peek here. Disrupt does shroud up onto the boost side. And now it's just 3 members of Zercus eSports waiting for them to push up. But again, they've slowed down their pace. They're making sure that they're guarding this Phantom that Gadores has lost here. Now, Nebula will be there to give him some cover, and the recall ball is going to Eugene makes this push, and immediately Tailwind away. Now he's just spraying down, almost catching out Retner, but Retner will stay alive with only 8 HP left.
2 members versus 4, but Zercus, they've got the guns now. Phantom and a Vandal apiece.
30 seconds left.
Split A site still. And look at the discipline from Reform. No one
Right
is
there.
inching anywhere. They're all staying here in this particular site.
One enemy
Picks up
remaining.
worship. Look at
Oh,
great transfer from Eugene S. Gets a double headshot as well. Reform. 3-1 is the scoreline in favor of them.
that was a beautiful play from Eugene S. A beautiful spray transfer, just as you said. Zercus eSports, that was just their eco round. This time around, we don't see any shenanigans of ecos winning it. But although they did try to get the upgrade and try to do some damage, that will be it for them. Now they're opting for the full buy, although Prame is left with just a Spectre in play, but he still he will be giving the information for his team. Looks like another A push coming out from Zercus eSports. This time around, Gardoas won't be throwing his 0 points, so they might not catch this.
Absolutely might not. But at least they got Disrupt guarding a site. Him to perform the task of
Here we go.
stopping the push. Another dark cover to go and give him that avenue to potentially push. Contemplating whether he should TP down in one. He will get spotted out by Kant before he can. Now,
You should run.
I'm quite interested why Zercus still continues to push down in A, but so far, they actually haven't committed as of yet. As a lockdown finally in. There you go. There goes the Cloud Burst into the tailwind. Eugene S in a top spot. He won't be able to get out of there. And the plant now coming through. Reply. Beautiful kill with an Endless Swarm.
This is what we love to see about Zercus eSports, the way they use their utilities to interrupt these sites. Look at the HP already down for Reform eSports. Half on the Omen and Gadores as well, chipped down by that Nano Swarm. The silencer dart is there, but still the information is full sides for Zercus eSports. They have the man advantage. They're waiting for them for the post-plant situation to push up. Kaz already still destroying the one and was able to plus off the null command. This mutes the remaining members. Let's see if the duels come in for them.
1 versus 2 now. If they won't be able to get the resurrect onto that KO.
Last player
Seems like he
standing.
won't, as Rednep is taking
Last
matters
player
into his own hands. He picks them both up,
Punished.
and he secures the round. 2-3. Zercus. Beautiful post plant right there for Retner, going for the 1v2.
They lost more than half of their members though, so the bank's not looking good for them. They need to win 1 more to try and build it up. Meanwhile, for Reform eSports side, they got enough to buy an operator as well. But Zercus eSports should know this if they do opt for it, so they should be careful coming up into this next round. But it looks like Reform eSports will be trying to go for the surprise instead. They will be playing full rifles, and it looks like it's going to be a push this time around for Eugene S on the B side.
I'm not sure if this is the best call though for Zercus, because team members are right here from Reform, with the one just hanging about in the defender side spawn. That's Gadores finally making his way down into tree and Cubby. So I love this. I love this. I love that this change of pace brought about by Zercus. But again, gotta be careful. Eugene is right here. Beautiful flash drive to actually force that tailwind out. Now they claimed a bit of space for themselves.
Yeah, and that calls for the information as well. The spikes in no man's land, but they're about to be picking it up. Looks like it's going to be the B push for the team here over at the Zercus sides. So let's see if this push will be slowed down, because they have the Killjoy bots set up here. Al Jones coming out to get some information. Looks like Worship will be able to find some counter out. Oh no! The 0 point shuts down Worship's Aljo. He was unable to get all the information they wanted to get the rotations as early as possible, but instead it's going to be the push up already here on this B side.
Uncharacteristic miss there for Eugene. He doesn't get anything out of the push. Cons now cleans up that side. Not knowing Disrupt is still there. He picks up 2 from the get-go. And 3
down,
versus
B.
2 still
One
as he
enemy
goes for
remaining.
his third. Still
30
alive
seconds
and
left.
kicking is where Disrupt is. It's gonna leave
Last
Reply
player
all alone as he does get a dink onto Godora. So now it's the battle of these two. And the clutch to go in the way of Reply means that we're back into equal score again.
3-3 is the final score. What a shot. Again, the clutches from these two teams are insane to watch up. We are lucky, definitely, to be watching this game between these two teams. But again, more than half of the members from Zercus eSports did lose their life there. We even see Retner playing with a Stinger. Forced up there. He could have bought a Spectre as well, so very interesting to see that he opted for the Stinger instead. Reform Esports will still be able to buy up something out of that, although one is on the Spectre.
And both of them are at iffy economy right now.
You should run.
It's been so close, but here comes the lockdown. Eugene S again for the second round in a row. Doesn't find anything on that defense. The first touch going the way of Zercus this time around. Counter ults are now coming through. Lockdown and Hunter's Fury now both down. And the lockdown from Zercus actually nullified this time around, so they won't be able to push this
Spike
as
down,
Gadoras
B.
picks up Reply. That's a bit of a questionable push right there, but top spot to be in was where Reply was. And now Spike is in no man's land. There's no chance. There's very little chance that they can get this. Disrupt though, he picks up one more just to make it hurt a little bit for Zercus. Let's see if they're going to be able to do anything out of this.
A bit of a miscommunication. Reply was able to sneak past that lockdown, but the man was holding the spike while the rest of the team had to back off because that lockdown was about to shut them down. The Nanoswarm just slowed them down. Beautiful utility use coming out from Reform Esports to completely shut down that push, and now they have full control of this spike. And now this is the difficult thing. You've got no more utilities to try and enter this side, so it's just going to be a
30
man.
seconds One
Just
enemy remaining.
look at these shots just spraying down through the smoke. There's nothing they can do.
Disrupt's just got X-ray vision right now. He's already gotten 2 just this round through the dark cover. And remember, this is a round where neither teams have pretty solid economy, so definitely a pivotal
10
one for
seconds left.
sure. Cass, which is why Cass wants to save this Vandal up. Big idea that Gadoras is here. He spots him out in the nick of time. Just in time to back off and save that Vandal for himself. At least he does find a little bit of damage, but at the end of the day, it's Reform that's gonna walk away with the cake. 4-3.
You know, they save one Vandal to play with coming into this next round. Cons is 2 away for his Blade Storm, so there's not much to try and pick up the damage there unless they give him do double ultimate orbs all across the map before they opt for a push here. But it looks like it will be still Reform Esports. Again, looking good with the bank. They were able to make it over that last round while breaking Zercus Esports' bank economy. Retner, again, with the man with the Stinger. This man's very confident with his Stinger. I'm excited to see what kind of plays he can bring out with it.
Second round with the Stinger. This time, no light shields. So, a little bit softer on that Astra. Cast once more with the hero buy. Let's see if they're going to make anything happen with this 3 push. But it's Eugene S that they have to compete against. Oh, he gets spotted. He gets taken out through the nebula. What are these spams? They keep connecting. And now that's going to permit the way for them to push down into A where 2 members are waiting. But that's side control. Disrupt once more trying to hold the line here. He picks up 1. And he's looking for more, looking to double dip here with full health still. He does spot another Reply.
enemy
Caught
remaining.
mid! And Disrupt gets the ace! Look at the man, 5-3. And quick round, courtesy of the man. Reform. Such a beautiful defense right there.
Yeah, that's immediate. Anytime your team gets an ace, that is immediate mood booster. Confidence just goes way out of the top there. These teams must be screaming out of their minds right now. Zercus Esports, although that was just their eco round, they did have Cass with the saved Vandal last round, but that's all they're gonna get. Although it was a nice opening for the side, Reform Esports just take it back immediately. 5-3 now is on the score, still in favor of Reform Esports. Now is the time for the buy-up coming out from Zercus.
Eugene S picking up the op, so Zercus, I gotta be careful of that fact. And Eugene S has been having a rough couple of rounds and a half, but this time he wants to change it up with the operator pickup. Does reposition himself into A after being smoked out in mid. which is precisely where Zercus is actually looking to split for now. Now the Nebula Smoke's now coming through. That's the knife being thrown out as well. Gadorus doesn't want to be spotted out, but he gets zoned out. But now the Swarm activates the null command, and Khan's the first to fall. Disrupt right there to pick up frame as well. Gadorus goes massive as he picks up 3. Doesn't even fall. Now down to 1 HP, but he's looking for more kills. Eugene S. Oh! He gets shoulder peeked by Retner.
Pulling the
See if he's gonna make anything happen because he's used the Cosmic Divide already.
Yep. He's all down to his lonesome. Although one guy from Reform Eastern is dead on HP. We're just holding the angle. And he wins the duel as well. Retnip finally falls there. What a play coming out from Gadorus. Making a beautiful flash in with that null command. Slowing down the push. Making Khans unable to tailwind away because of that silence. And with the next flash, before he even shot down Kaz, because Kaz was fully blind, it was Reply was not blind, so he chose to shoot down Reply first before heading over to transfer onto Kaz. So beautiful play coming up from the single members of the team of Reform Esports so far. Timeout now activated for Zercus Esports. They need to get some ground here because 3 rounds in a row now for Reform.
Yeah, it's been so close before that 3 rounds, and Zercus, they've been unable to answer back, which is not the same. Not a place they want to be right now. Three rounds behind is not too bad, but Zercus, they want to recuperate before it's unrecoverable. Their bank is not really there anymore. Retner, I don't know. This is the 3rd time I believe that he's picked up the Stinger, so not having the best of times gun-wise. But Zercus, this is the time for them to bring out those strats that we've been talking about, and I wonder what they're gonna bring out because it's Safe Stick. They brought out everything already.
We've seen the utility usages and the abilities being used up very early on this attacking side. We might even see more in the defenders, but again, as you mentioned, I'm excited to see if Retner can get another kill with this Stinger. He's always gotten at least one every single time, so I'm hoping to see one more come out from this man. Khans, of course, with the Bladestorm ready, so he will have the full armor. Cass with the hero buy, full Vandal, no armor at all. They get spotted by the full silence.
I wonder what the strategy is here. I mean, Zercus, every time that Retner goes for the Stinger, Cass also goes for the Vandal. I mean, regardless of the amount of money that they have, regardless if Cass can actually afford that shields, actually goes for the Vandal. Interesting strat right here, but I guess they're putting all their eggs onto the null command basket, as that's what they have right now, the biggest ult that is available apart from the Hunter's Fury for worship. Maybe they're gonna activate it right here in B side, where only one member is hanging about, and that's exactly the play.
Yeah, but there we go. Now we understand why the Vandal was picked up, but Nasby shoots through the Nebula, takes Kaz out. He will get revived very soon here. The silence, the mute is still there. They do clear up the side, but Nasby again with the full spray down. Reply finally gets a reply and shuts him down. This man has to be stopped. 3 versus 3 now. Reply getting another one onto Gadorus with just the Sheriff in play. Worship finally shuts that guy down. The Khan still with the Blaze, so I'm looking for more. Eugene S has to swap over to the rifle because that ob is not going to do work pushing up this B side.
Blades at the ready for Khans, looking for more kills now on a 2-on-2 like you mentioned. Worship just waiting for the jiggle peak, but that's scary for Eugene S. He's probably not going to do that anymore. Pushing up though against Eugene, he spots him out. Goes for the right click, doesn't get it, which means he gets punished from the get-go, and Worship is there to clean it up. Pixac, Retner, and Reform, they put themselves up 4 rounds up ahead, 7-3.
Yeah, that was a nice change of pace coming out from Zercus Esports. Definitely caught Reform Esports off guard because they were expecting an eco round, not an explosive push once more into that B side. But as you mentioned, that was just all eggs in the basket for that null command. Now they don't have it. They use it, they exhausted it during an eco round to try and get the surprise they do, but that's still Reform Esports coming out on top. So now again, let's see if Zercus can push up this A side instead as they have their rifles in play.
And I love still, despite losing that round, Zercus, they calculate their creds down to a T. Look, they're still able to go for the full buys, apart from Cass, who admittedly just had the light shields, but you gotta respect these sort of little plays that add up to be something. And speaking of little plays, Disrupt tries to disrupt the push. He does pick one up, but slows down the push from Zercus. They're still gonna go for it potentially with the lockdown actually committed already down into A main. Gotta be careful because
want to
everyone's
fight it.
already here for reform.
And the positioning from Eugene S, but he completely, his vision gets denied by the Cosmic Divide. He's coming out still. He gets, and Nano Swarm, he will finally fall. Although he got one shot at least before the push started on. Reply, just take out Nazmi from the lurk guard. Here comes Gadores pushing out from the tree side. And now they got spike control. They know where the remaining member is, which was the man holding down the lurk. Will Reply notice this? Gadores gets into a beautiful position and will win the round 8-3 now. Reform Esports looking so
Last
good.
round before the switch.
Yeah, absolutely do. Zercus are throwing everything that they possibly could in these rounds, but just to no avail because Reform, they're just ready for it. And Eugene, it seems like he's found his footing once more with that operator play. He was getting pummeled by every bit of utility that you can imagine. Cosmic Divide, and there was the lockdown, and then there was the Nano Swarm as well. It was amazing to think about it that he was able to pick up the frag right there, which still pretty good for Reform to hold their ground right now. 8-3 is the score. The mission right now for Zercus is just secure this one round up for themselves. Let's see if they're gonna be able to do just that. Cast just the sheriff to work with though.
Yeah, they forced up whatever buy they could make here. Who knows if they can get 8-4, they get more breathing space. If they get 9-3, maybe they can activate the curse. You never know. With these two games, Reform Esports again, it looks like they're backing it up here. They still have full control of this A side, but look at the positioning this time around from Zercus Esports. This is the first time they're doing this, where they scatter every single member instead of pushing up as a single unit.
Yeah, this is one of the few times that Zercus actually goes for the default and whoop, to find a single frag. There's first contact, but Worship just gets tagged down to 91. It's like a bit of noise being made down into B's site. So, but Reform, they're looking pretty steady with this defense. They do not want to rotate as of yet. 3 members still in A2. Oh,
30
1 in
seconds
B.
left.
Here we go.
But there goes the Nebula now being laid out. Knives being thrown out. Worship is there to try and defend this. Of course, he is the Sova, so a bit of utility available to himself. Nasmi picks up Cons quite easily down from mid. And Worship doesn't get anything, unfortunately, so that's the plan to come through. Courtesy of Retner. Still a 3-on-4.
Yeah, nowhere to run. Another Hunter's Fury being used. The spike does get planted, but to what? Prime getting Gadores down, puts it into a 2 versus 3, but Eugene on a beautiful positioning, but the tailwind does not connect from the body from Prime. Gets the easy taps in. This man is on fire right now for that last round. They get the breather. 8-4. That's still a win in their book.
Holy moly. Prime saves that round out of nowhere. He emerges. He was like Shrek from Shrek the Second. One tap apiece for the last 4 members of Reform, and he single-handedly turned the tide around. That could have been enough here again as we head into the second half. More so than saving the round, and that was a good mental reset for Zercus as they get into this pistol.
I don't
they
like
gotta
it,
win this
Tatum.
pistol though.
I don't like it. I remember yesterday we started at 8-4 yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
true.
I think like it's gonna be the big push, right?
I mean, let's see though. We both love overtimes, right? I mean, we love these type of matches that are so closely matched that each team fighting tooth and nail.
Spike down.
Cass picks up one, gets raided out immediately. Eugene S just running and gunning, going frenzy with the frenzy. He picks up the next one. Is looking for more, but the tailwind doesn't work in his favor. But that's side control, leaving Prime all alone here in heaven. There's no way they're gonna go for the 2v4. Reply though, right clicks Eugene out of the game. Nazmi
planted.
is there for the response. So it's a 1 versus 3 again, and this is a done round for Reform.
That's 21 HP. There's no way, right? This time for sure, we can definitely assume that there's no way, especially with that turret. That was a beautiful shot with that. But Gadores is there with the crossfire, so Reform Esports will pick up the pistol round. 9-4 now is on the board. Will Zercus Esports opt for a forced buy-up here because they were unable to get anything out of that? Remember, they're not attackers this time around. They don't get extra cash when the spike gets planted. So it looks like they might be playing for the long game here with a full eco. And it looks like a shenanigan will be played out from Zercus Esports. They're gathering up on this B side. I'm excited to see what kind of damage they can do with these classics.
Oh, cast on frenzy though. So something to note
Here we
there.
go.
But here we go. There goes the turret. Actually gonna give them a bit of info, not knowing that everyone's there, but they can easily mow down by a single
enemy
Spectre. Make
remaining.
that two. Nasby's there with Disrupt. It's all down to Prey with just a classic, and he finds one singular response, but that's about it. Reform. Quick round, and that's what you get for pushing Spectres.
Looks like that's just the giveaway round for Zercus Esports.
Yeah.
They didn't need that round, so they will push up all their bodies. Maybe it would just be sheer luck. Maybe if they do succeed with that, because I would be so surprised if all these classics suddenly run down the Spectres. But finally, it will just be that. Looks like Radores will be upgrading into the Phantom here. 10-4 now is the score. They're on the advantage, but this time around, Zercus Esports got the guns. They got the rifles. If we talk about telegraphs, this should be the round they should win.
As far as should be go, I mean, seen a fair bit of that this week.
No.
Right now it's a 1-for-1 trade, but that is the biggest gun from Reform. Actually getting it picked up by Eugene S, so still one hero rifle in their team. Spectres for 3 members, that is. But they are
Oh, wow.
actually scattered up. Eugene S gets shock darted down to half health. Still looking to be a B-side push as of the moment, as Spike being paraded down into B main. No ults available for either team, remember. So it's all about the trades right now and the utilities usage, or what is left of it at least. But gotta be careful here, Reform, because ever so slowly, Zercus, they're making their way forward. And this lurk from Retner eventually going to happen.
Yeah, the longer they wait, the more map control Zercus Esports is getting here. Cons will be the first man to in contact here on this A-short side, holding down the tree. He's got the tailwind. He gets the first shot in Cloud Burst, and there is no trade from Eugene S. He looks like he's playing for the Ninja. He sees the gun barrel. However, the door has been closed onto him. So now he will
30
be able to
seconds
sneak
left.
past behind enemy lines, but will he be able to support his team? Because Prame is wary of this. He is watching his spawn side, so he will be seeing Eugene S very soon here. But he gets distracted. The timing perfect here as the push comes up to this B side. Disrupt and Nasby gets the disruption. Disrupt will be able to take him out as well. Here comes the tail when he hears this, and now they know that
10
both players
seconds
are on this
left.
B side.
Another 2 versus 2 we got here again. And remember, this started to be it was supposed to be a bonus for Zercus and Reform. They're giving Zercus a run for their money, as they finally will be able to get this plant off. Yes, it's a post plant. So let's see if Disrupt and Eugene S can close this out, or with will Cons and Retner
One enemy remaining.
seems like not, because they both get easily taken out. Disrupt and Eugene S taking us into 11-4. Reform, they're one away from securing match point.
Wow, beautiful crossfire, beautiful read coming out from Reform Esports to watch the stairs side from the back and from the front. Zercus Esports just didn't know who to shoot first as soon as they popped out of the angle. And with that, they will be back on another eco round. They are playing the long game because they will be giving away match point to Reform Esports.
See if the Stingers can actually make anything happen out of Retner and Prame. Or any of these guns for that matter. Bucky onto Reply's hands. Cons is actually taking a page out of Eugene S's book, pushing up A-main so far forward in the Nebula, but they get spotted by Disrupt! What a swing as he gets 2! And that's gonna open up A-side wide. That's gonna plant, surely gonna come through shortly thereafter. Oh, he's not done. He picks up the 3rd before getting the spike down.
Such
Spike
a clean
planted.
round coming out from the Reform Esports. All down to Prame and Reply. It's a Bucky and a Sticker to play with. Prame is the man holding out. Looks like they're looking for some exit frags, maybe, hopefully, to come out from our attackers or Reform Esports. Prame just holding down the angle, waiting for the push to happen. He's just waiting and waiting for this guarding side. Well, meanwhile, Reply from the heaven side might get some action, although he makes some noise at the wrong timing possible because Eugene S was already way too close for him. With that, Reform Esports, it's a flawless
Match
round for them.
point.
12-4, beautiful bank up build. All they need is just one more round to close it out.
They got 3 ults, no less. It's looking like a done game here again, but let's not count our eggs a little bit early because maybe Zercus got something left in the tank here. Cons picking up that op. It's the first time he will be able to on this defensive side just because of how dominating Reform has been. It's been 4 consecutive wins for them in the second half. So this op might just be the potential turnaround here, but they gotta secure 8 rounds in a row perfectly. It's
You
It's hard
should
to
run.
imagine that, considering how well the performance have been for Reform.
Can't use that.
Lockdown will be committed early on for Reform, so now the rotations are now making their way through down into the side for everyone down in Zercus. Whoa! Actually used the counter lockdown, but they pick up the first kill onto Nasmi. Pretty smart decision actually not using the lockdown right there, and it's the right one because the spike is being paraded down to the other side of things in A side.
Yeah, they tried to go for the bait and switch. Cons will be holding down the angle with the operator. If they don't smoke this out, to try to dry peek this, they will be in a lot of trouble. Although we're going to take out Redner. There it is. Cons taking the first frag. Kaz as well chiming it in from the middle side. And now it's all down to Disrupt and Gadores. Gadores in a beautiful position to
Last
get an
player
advance in. But
standing.
Kaz with the swing and the flick takes the man's head right off. Disrupt now on a 1 versus 4 situation.
You said it yourself, 1 versus 4, every bit of utility to work with, but there's no way he's gonna be able to do this. Even though this is Disrupt we're talking about, he will get the plant
30
off with
seconds
just
left.
that extra bit of 300 threads
Spike
despite
planted.
being rich already, but he's just not watching the right angle. He might be caught off here by Kaz. So many to watch out for against, and he's just nowhere to go. Yeah, Kaz picks up the 3K. Zercus buys himself a bit more time.
Man just gets pummeled down in the generator. Nothing he could do. Although the dark cover just save him some time, but that's all he's going to get. It was a nice try for him, but all 4 members from Zercus Esports were alive. And again, that was a beautiful round for Zercus Esports. They will still have a bank to play with. Same for Reform Esports. They tried to go for the bait and switch, but Zercus Esports just was not phased at all. Especially with Reply getting that frag through that smoke. That was just the signal that there's no way they can push up this B site now.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering why Reform took their time actually to push down into A site. Maybe they were contemplating whether to push down in B or go for the bait and switch, eventually going for the latter. But by then it was a little bit too late. Now though, it's Disrupt with that Odin. Cons will be quick to respond with the up, so still equal game right now. You up gets detected, gets taken out by Reply.
Yep, and that's the way. That is the hold so far from Zercus Esports. Such turtle down in the sides. Kaz with an off angle. Nasby was not expecting, and he will be able to get that easily. Fragged him down. Flash there to slow down the push. Now they know the Odin is still here on the Disrupt side, making a lot of noise. And the shock that as well. That's the information. They know that both members are here on the B main side, and now they're just holding off.
Kaz might walk into this Odin's crosshair. Disrupts. It's been absolutely massive with it. He was the one to pick up the first frag, but remember, Reform are just now down to 2 members. They're barely inching forward. 2 smokes just for good
Turret
measure.
out.
Knife there as well. A lot of pressure being made on these 2 members. They got no idea whether there is a lurk coming or not. For them so far, that doesn't seem to be the case as of yet, but they're feeling the pressure right now. They know that eventually they have to push this. They have to take out at least 1 member in the
seconds
process to buy that bit of ground for themselves. More time will run out. There you go. They pick up the first. Cast falls, but the lurk is already here from behind. Redner, this might be massive for him.
enemy
And it
remaining.
does pan out to be huge. He
down
picks up the
B.
first. Now it's all down to Disrupt, but all amounting to nothing. And again, got a bad feeling about this again.
12-6 now. Zercus Esports are slowly closing out that gap. Reform just needs 1 single round to finish this off. They had a nice 4-round streak at the start of the second half, but now Zercus Esports are taking away that momentum little by little. It's getting really close for them. If Reform Esports loses these next 2 rounds, they should be on an awkward bank situation.
That is true. Reform, their bank. We talked about how well their bank has been built up, but now it's slowly getting broken down. Zercus now gaining that bank for themselves. 4 ults at the ready and praying 1 orb away from getting that Hunter's Fury as well. Gadores, of course, same story is true for him on that null command. Just 1 kill and he gets that up and running already. They're making a bit of noise down in A, which is why 4 members of Zercus are positioned up here right now. Actually making the smart decision moving up to B site. So, but right here we have a standoff between the Killjoys. Let's see who gets first touch here. Nasmi, if he inches a bit forward, he might get taken out. He doesn't win the swing against Reply. And there goes the push now happening in B side. Cosmic Divide to slow them down, but the tailwind is already happening down into sight. I cannot use that. No command to be activated as well. Actually, by the defensive side, that's cast. So that might halt the push altogether from half. Oh, rather not
Spike
cast, but it is
planted.
Gators who activates it after getting that ultimate. Hunter's Fury will be there from the attackers. That is Worship who picks up cast in the process. 5 versus 3 now. To make that 3. That's already falling for Zercus. They won't flash off like Gators, and he's just mowing the ball down. Reform, they close it out.
Attackers
13
win.
to 6, and that's the first game of the day.
13 to 6. They finally finished it off. They used up every single ultimate. They got the jump on Zercus eSports. Zercus, they had their own ultimates on the ready, but they were unable to use them at all because Reform eSports were just too quick on the push and the buttons as well. They were able to close out that round, getting everything in. 13 to 6 is our final score.
That was that felt like a quick game again, even though it was a hard fought one for Zercus, and that's because we barely saw any defaults. I believe we only saw one. And Reform, they made it happen really quick, setting the tempo for themselves to secure this round quite easily. And 13 to 6, it was the rounds were close, but the Reform, they just dominated on that second half. Stay tuned, folks, because this is a best of 3. Zercus, will they be able to bounce back? We'll find out after the short break. So hang about because we're just having a short break here with Yen. Welcome back, ladies and gents. You're still watching Updraft by KJC Esports. It's still me, Datum, and of course, joining us in the commentator desk is Gen here. That first game was an absolute storm by Reform Esports. This next one, we're headed into Split, and of course, this is Reform's pickup, rather map pick as well. So, what are you expecting out of this one, Gen?
Yeah, we are probably expecting the 2-0 now this time around because Reform Esports, they were confident to give Ascent to Zercus Esports, but this time around it's on their map pick Split. This is their home base this time. Let's see if Zercus Esports have their own strats to play up because this is Split. We always see a lot of shenanigans happen over the Split side, especially controlling middle, controlling the A and the B side. What kind of agents are you looking forward to here, Datum?
No, well, of course, this is Split we're talking about. The corridors are somewhat tight and very similar to Ascent in that matter. So I'm expecting the actually controller wise, I want to talk about that. Astra is of course a staple sort of before the patch happened. So now, well, I still expect Astras to come through because Astra's still very potent, but that paves the way for Brimstone to actually be used here, and I want to see that. I want to see Brimstones in Split.
That's true. I was hoping to see Viper, but again, I do remember the nerf happening last time around. Every time you turn on the toxic screen and the curtain as well, the gas will run out a lot faster. Special
Yeah.
thanks, by the way, to our sponsors, Vertigear, Code, and Coda Shop as well for sponsoring our tournament here. And this tournament, of course, KGC Updraft is co-organized by Cyberport.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for making this event possible. But going back into the game, we're in the agent select screen right now.
Oh,
And Zercus actually goes for the breach. This makes a lot of sense in Split. Both teams actually opting for it. But I gotta be honest here, I'm pretty scared for this first half because that second half in Ascent, when Reform went for the attacking side, they were nigh unstoppable. This time they're gonna be starting off in their map pick in that same side. So Zercus, they definitely have a lot of pressure against them. Let's see what they can do in this defense. And this is where it's all going to start. And it looks like they're doubling down on defense if they lock down this Astra.
yes, and we do see it. The Viper does get picked up, so my wish does come true. Although I am surprised that Gadors is the one who will be playing on the Raze, and Worship is the man who plays the Breach. Last time we know Gadors is the man who plays that
Select
Breach
your
pickup.
agent.
So this is a surprise maybe for Zercus Esports as the agent picks do start to lock in here. We do see the Chamber, of course. At least one Trapper is a requirement if you want to secure your Split map, and we do see it for Cons on that Chamber, and then Disrupt with that Cypher.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna be seeing a Brimstone, but hey, it's compensated by the presence of a breach. It seems like we have a bit of a lack in terms of information with only one each team, and that's in the form of the Sentinels. Cons is on the chamber, and Disrupt is of course on that on that Cypher. Very little aggressive tools actually to work with because of the lack of duelists each team. Well, they do have one duelist each team, but they do have the breach to compensate for that fact. And Chamber can sort of act like a semi-duelist on Cons' hands, especially on this defense. That operator player basically gets a free op on the Tour de Force. So this might be just what Reef or ZC needs to slow down the pace of the game. Because remember, Reform, they stepped it up in the last game. It was so quick, and the ZC they just weren't able to keep up. This time, maybe they'll be able to slow the game down completely.
Yeah, we do know Cons is the man, the jet player for Zercus Esports. Now, seeing him in play as the Chamber, it's definitely going to be a very aggressive one for sure. Chamber is such a big agent as well to be playing here on Split map because of the rendezvous. Makes it so much easier to get out of fights and get your rotations faster if you set up that rendezvous properly. Looking like it's going to be a bigger A push for Reform Esports. They do have the Raze and the Jet combo with alongside the Breach and the Omen. So two on two of these combos already for Reform Esports. A very aggressive attacking side, definitely. It's going to be a lot easier for them to push up any of these sides with that paranoia, with that fault line, and then just the jumping outpower the speed of the Jet and the Raze.
Yes, this should do.
Yeah, I'd like to
This
touch,
goes here.
touch up a little bit more on that chamber argument. You can actually, did you know this? You can actually place that rendezvous on both heaven sides in A and B, which is why you can basically instantly rotate. And it's just one of the things that makes chamber absolutely amazing in these types of small maps like
This goes
Split,
here.
possibly even Haven. And of course, well, you can never just count out the fact that he's got a free headhunter, or not headhunter, free sheriff every single round. Not free, but here we go. Side push already happening down in A side. Fame is quick to dismiss of that push. Eugene S falls quite easily. Cons has to back off from that nade. Nasmi's there for the response and will not get headshotted as Worship picks up Cons. But it's Fame who does
Spike
gets the
down
dinks
A.
with the 3K, completely halting that push and getting spike control as well.
The amount of pressure of the defense that the defenders Zercus eSports have. But look at this positioning from Godor. He's gonna catch Prame off guard. Will he go for this knife, or will he just look for more that he can find here? He's just standing right next to him. Finally takes him out. Looking for more information. Gets him the clear of the site. So all Cypher needs to do is get into this. But unfortunately for him, Reply does get back. The fault line does catch Godor's down. He is concussed and flashed all the way down. Zercus eSports will finally secure this round. That was a beautiful hold from Prame. The controllers of Zercus eSports just immediately can slow down the aggressive pushes that we were just talking about that our attackers Reform eSports can do.
Yeah, the triple defense basically working out in favor of Zercus eSports and Reform. They went in, no hesitation, just like the last game when they went into the attacking side. They immediately go for the push, taking very little time to do so. But this time, it's a very different map, a very different composition as well. And Zercus, they're ready for it now that they know what Reform is up to on the attacking side. And
There.
I hate to say it again, but no, I'm not gonna. This time, no Reform. Pressing the issue down in mid. Cass is quick to shut it down. Cons as well. Aftershock being pummeled down in there, but damage already done. 2 members from Reform are down.
Yep, and the rendezvous just saves the life of good old Cons. Although Worship gets the dink and the kill onto Reply. So Reply getting a little antsy on the push. He did have the Spectres. These are just full ecos coming up from Reform eSports. Just classics in hand. So all they have to do is making sure that it's going to be extra clean. Prame with the Vandal, of course. Ooh, runs out of bullets. At the same time, Retner does finally clean up the middle side from the lurk. So now Prame is the man who had the vision. He knows Cypher is somewhere on this A side. He'll be cleaning them up very soon unless Disrupt gets the dink with the classic, takes him out, gets a free upgrade on the Vandal. All he has to do now is save it up. Cons is the one who will be first to try and make contact with him, but he's only got 20 HP left on him. But with the jumping noise Disrupt is making, Cons will finally shut him down. Now all he has to do is find this Vandal that, of course, good old Cypher threw off the map.
He yoinked it out of there again. It was so funny, but Reform finally getting the guns that they need. So let's see if they're gonna find a little bit more ground on this attacking side. Well, we all know Split very defense heavy. Well, Southeast Asian teams, they have quite the reputation for being creative on the attacking side on Split. So Reform,
Right there.
expecting them to be no less. Looking to split B side now. Beautiful setup on that concuss. That does get one out, but unfortunately no backup as of yet because there's 3 members that's reinforcing this mid defense from Zercus.
Yes, and at the same time, you know, you love to see it. The Cypher will always be lurking somewhere along across the map. He's already making an AOA on this A side. At the same time, the mid presence, just the push is coming out. Khan's getting one onto Godor's, but Worship's there for the trade. They know the plays, and now with Disrupt getting all this information this A side, and especially taking out the chamber means the trademarks will not be there to give them information if the A side traps will trigger. So with this, they should be able to clear up this A side, and now Disrupt will just be holding on this heaven side while the rest of his team creeps up.
Disrupt's already here for so long already that Zercus might not be prepared for that, but they're steering clear of vents. Eugene S claiming that space in A side. Gotta be careful pushing down this
Reply.
art cover. Gotta be careful behind the Reply. What a mishap right there. Brings out the utility
Spike
in
planted.
the wrong time. Leaving Retnerp and Prame to try and close this one out, but 10 health on Retnerp and Prame in Africa, so this is looking like a done round for Reform.
That was so unfortunate for Reply. He could have gotten one before he fell down, since this was just their bonus round anyway. At least do some sort of damage onto Reform sides. But now it's all down to Frame and Red Nerf. And as we said, it's just a Spectre to play with. Disrupt finds Frame
standing.
and gets the shot in as well. So that push has been shut down. It's all down to Red Nerf. He's got 10 HP. He might just fall to the spike here.
Yeah, 10 health. He doesn't want to give the pleasure of giving them the kills, but he might not have a choice. There you go. Not. Tries to go for the save, but will not be able to run out of there alive. 1-2 Reform. Now the game begins again. I want to see what Reform is actually going to show up, because that was a pretty good round for them, playing very slowly. Uncharacteristic for that matter, but hey, they made it work.
And for Frame, his very early Viper Spit is on the ready. He could use his Green Marshmallow to shut down the mid push that Reform Esports absolutely love to do. So that is the plan for Zercus Esports. At the same time, Reform, they will try to go for the B split, but with this Viper Spit, they should slow down.
They should, but Eugene S, he doesn't want to. And this is the last thing that Frame might expect if anyone comes bursting out into Vents. But it's actually down back into B main where they go with one lurk on that Cypher. Of course, Disrupt still on the lurk duty. A B site might be the area of contention here, which is perfect for them. This is a good read.
Yep, Retner's Demands is trying to see if he can jump peek through. Oh, the jump peek is not working out. And finally, they see each other's shoulder. Immediately backed off on the middle side because they heard the judge from the Viper. So now they will try and push up this B side. This is still somewhat doable for them. Information is there for both these sides. They find the lurker. So that actually brings up a little bit of information. Retner with just a stinger takes Eugene out. And with that, he will get the upgrade. Replies there from the heaven side. Gives him cover. Retner might get one more. That's Worship down. And now it's all down to Nasby. And Retner's already with the angle. They shut down the push.
Completely. And cleanly, for that matter, no one fell for Zercus in that round. Oh, Reformed really having a tough time on this attacking side. And, well, they just want to take, at this point, they just want to minimize the damage. 3-1. It's not that far off as of yet, but with the way things are looking up to be on the attacking side for them, it seems like at this point they just want to take as many rounds as they possibly could away from Zercus on this first half. This time though, they're pushing up the tempo.
Yeah, very early paranoia being used. Reply has been pushed back all the way, but there was no push there. The Nebula shuts down the push from Reform Esports, so Reply will get a better position here onto the Raptor side. Gets a beautiful flash in as well. The counter flash is there. Gravity Wells to shut and slow down the push. So now it's a back and forth utility usage. Oh no, the raise! Boomba takes out Eugene S, who was vulnerable because of that Gravity Well. At the same time, from the garage side, there's a lot of action and shots being used. And now it's Reply holding down his angle. With the aftershock, he might get the heads off over a ship, and Ghidorah's pushing up the B tower. So now, again, it's all down to Nasby. This was just their half buy. Nasby does have a Spectre to play with and the ultimate if he chooses to try and get the spike off. But no matter what, they will have creds on this next round. So Nasby, looking to see if he can deal some damage or save a rifle here.
46 health though, so I'm not expecting him to use that ult anytime. He's looking for the exits here, but Frame just got the better angle and the better gun. So an easy round, easy secure right there for Frame. 4-1. And as you mentioned, the guns will finally be here for Reform, and this might look to be a quick one because there is the Rolling Thunder available for Worship, but it's also up for Zercus for Reply for that matter. So this might pan out to be a chaotic round if Reform decides to pull the trigger early. We'll have to wait and see.
Don't get cozy.
They're gonna have to get Ghidorahs on that showstopper to double up with the Rolling Thunder. Reply opting for the fault line very early on here, so Retner can get some sights in, but a counter fault line was there, so that just down the push on both sides. And now look at Cons with this operator. He might catch Disrupt off guard here. He has yet to pop a shot here with this big gun. So we'll see if Cons will be able to shut down the lurk that Disrupt has been always doing here, but he's only been shoulder peeking himself. Ghidorah's getting the first frag onto Reply. That's the Rolling Thunder from Zercus down, and the showstopper available for Reform Esports. This looks like the round that they will take.
Still deciding whether they should go in B or A sides though. Vents pushing up from a Reform. Spike actually being making its way down into B main, so that might be the area, but Retnerp is right here pushing up. with Cass, with the showstopper. Remember, two members about to make contact in B main. Let's see who wins this. It's actually Zercus who does, but they do still have spike control and backing off early. So Nasmi actually double dipped here. Disrupt actually does down on the other side of things in A main. A lot of noise being made in both sides. But that rolling thunder doesn't get anyone. It's the showstopper at the ready. Gadores, he's gonna spot
30
one.
seconds left.
Cass falls quite easily. 2 versus 2 still in this round. It's blown out of the proportion. But Cons has yet to find anything with this op, and he has to go for the retake.
Spike
Gonna
planted.
be spotted from the hillside. He's not watching. Gadores is the man of the round here. 4K for him with that showstopper available and the frags as well. He shuts down the defense from Zercus Esports. It looks scary there in the right in the middle, but Gadores was able to bring it back for his team, and that brings them up one more round on their attacking side with a very aggressive composition as well. Unfortunately for Cons, he was held down with so much time because of Disrupt's lurk, so he had to take away that bug before he could get the rotations in, and with that, Reform Esports, they take that round, and now it's going to be another default for both of these teams. Cons with just the tour de force.
Reform's got barely any money though after in this round. Pivotal definitely for them. They do have one ult to work with, so they can get creative with the Omen on Nasmi. The Tour de Force not finding anything as of yet for Cons. Has to play close to his chest now. He has to rendezvous off. He doesn't get taken out by the crossfire. And the mid contention, it's a Mexican standoff between these two teams right now. There goes first contact by Cat, but gets traded out by Disrupt. So now that's one member apiece that's down, but that's the showstopper gone for Cass. Rolling Thunder had ready for reply, but I reckon he's gonna save that for the post plant. He's hearing a lot of noise down in heaven, which is why he wants to use that Rolling Thunder now to shut down the push before it even starts. And there you go, he does go for it, going for the flash as well. Doesn't find anything much. Yes, he does. He picks up Disrupt, and he's going to back off for now. 2 easy kills
30
for that
seconds left.
matter. Doesn't get traded off, so Zercus, they move away from that for the 2-man advantage.
Yep, Nasby and Worship now left alone. Looks like they will be forcing up
One
the B
enemy
side.
remaining.
Nasby tries to push up inside his dark cover, but Retnerp is already inside it. Ooh, another careful pushing up. Worship does take the
10
advantage. He
seconds
does have the
left.
spike. It's a 1 versus 3. He has to plant it as soon as possible here. Reply has a fault line. He will easily get the concuss in and get the shot as well. The spike doesn't even get planted, so no money at all given to Reform Esports.
They got no chamber either, so only Eugene S can opt for that ultimate for the free gun essentially on that jet. And they actually committed the ultimate on Nasmi as well on that round. Quite surprised that they did, and not even go for the quick shenanigans onto A site.
Yes, this should do.
Unfortunate that they did not even get the plants off, which means that they basically have nothing to go for. Gun-wise, that is. 3 sheriffs for Reform, but they're still speeding things up. Cons is the one that has the burden on himself to defend this A-site heaven. Does have the Phantom, so this could prove fatal for them. He got it out. Luckily, they will be able to trade out Disrupt right there. Still a 4-on-4 here.
Yeah, the spray downs comes in. They destroy the man equalizer. Reply taking out Gadores as well. So now it's a 4 versus 3. It's still an equal round from 4 Esports, but so far they're trying to make it as expensive as they can for Zercus Esports, making them use up so many of their utilities. And now looking for the frags. There's the flashpoint as well, looking for more information. Reply comes out and takes a shot in, but Worship is there for the trade frag. Now it's still Reply. He's looking for more. Worship is hiding right behind the dark cover. He's gonna be spotted in. Reply is hiding right behind it. It's all down to Nasby. Almost getting flashed out to 4K for Reply. That's a lot of bank being built up for Zercus Esports.
Beautiful job from Reply there. Also, beautiful job from our observer. Shout out to you, Rafi, for getting that massive 2K by Reply. And speaking of Reply and the gang, 6-2 is the scoreline in the favor of Zercus. Ult economy is looking good for Zercus as well, with the 3 ults up and running. And those are 3 huge ones for that matter. That's the Rolling Thunder and the Cosmic Divide and the Showstopper. So this round is looking pretty scary for Reform, despite having the guns.
But it's gonna be Frame who will be holding down the A push. He will be trying to slow down as fast as they can because Reform are picking up the pace. Frame already down to 30 HP, should be easily taken out by Eugene S. There it is. That's gonna be the A side cleared up. Zercus eSports, they do still have the Rolling Thunder available. They just need Reply to get on the side here, as well as Kaz, the Showstopper, to get the situation controlled back to Zercus eSports side, because the post-plan situation is there for Reform eSports, and they got full man advantage. It is Nasby's holding down from the elbow side. Reply has the lockdown ready. This lock, they know this. Reform eSports know, not the lockdown. The Rolling Thunder is ready. That's why they left the site.
Absolutely, and that's just gonna be the only one here doesn't get anything out of it. Counter Rolling Thunder's there. Look at the awkwardness in this fight. What was that? It's a 1 versus 2 at the end of things, and it's Rednerp to close it out, still in favor of Zercus. So at the end of it all, when the smoke has cleared, it's Zercus to come out on top. They're gonna get this diffuse and the 5-round advantage, and again, Reform, they got nothing going for them creds wise.
Yep, 7 rounds already in favor of Zercus eSports. They saved the operator as well. That was what we were waiting for, using up all of those ultimates, especially to combo the Rolling Thunder with the Showstopper to pretty much shut down the defense coming out from Reform eSports post-plant situation. Although they had the right idea. They know it was all available, so they were hiding behind it and got the counter Rolling Thunder in. They were just not expecting the other ults being activated as well.
Syrup still has his own ult though, so gets the first touch here with the Sheriff. Be useful. They don't. Reply gets the first tag onto Nasmi. And again, it's rough going for RFM.
Yep. RFM just the equal round. They have a few guns, half buys in favor. Eugene does have the rifle. They're hoping to get it, but Kaz with the operator gets the shot in. And Kaz as well chimes it in, taking out Worship as well. Those are the 2 half buys that we were waiting for. Now it's all down to Gadores and Disrupt. Reply spots the lurk, spots the little sneaky pass by, and with that, just a flawless round for Zercus eSports. 8-2 now is on the scoreboard. Reform eSports, they need at least one more round to give them enough breather for their own defense on split.
Yeah, they gotta secure the next couple of rounds at least to make it doable on the second half. I mean, they've been turning up with the strats here on the attacking side. It's just that Zercus is just ready for it every single time. Well, we talked about it earlier. It was because of their lineup of agents and the map, but it just keeps on going. In Reform, they just can't get the answer back every single time. At least they're able to take control of site for now, but Frame is still here to stop them in their tracks. Luckily, Eugene will win that swing. Kaz trades it out. Worship trades it out again. So on 2-on-2. 2-on-2. Spike still yet to go down, but they're at least in sight now, Worship and Nasmi.
Yep, it's Khan now. He loves using this chamber because if you're a Jet, you expend that tailwind, that's all you get. But for Khan, you got an extra rendezvous to use, and a beautiful quick scope coming up from him. Pulls out the headhunter, waiting for his teammate to help him out because Nasby is running and gunning him down. Nasby gets the safety right behind his elbow side. It's all down on a 1v1 now, but Rednerp is the one remaining alive. He's got one more star to work with, and he uses it up. That's Nebula in. The timing does not work out for both of these teams. Nasby, Rednerp's going to be pushing up the envelope. He's going to run into the angle of Nasby, but Rednerp gets the peeker's advantage, takes him out, and it's going to be a 9-2.
Oh, was so close as well. Reform could feel it. They could almost touch that round going in their way, but unfortunately, Rednerp
Last round in the
just
half.
a little bit more aggressive and just a little bit more successful than Nasmi, and that's all it takes to win these rounds, especially against these teams that are just so prepped for tonight. Reform, their bank is just not built up. At least they have the Blade Storm to work with for Eugene S. So I'm actually surprised that he still goes for the Spectre here instead of opting for giving a gun to his teammate Nasmi. But hey, still going for the push as much firepower as they could. Prame once more opens things up. At least this time they traded out by Eugene, but there's still another on to watch out for Eugene S. Good for 2 on that entry. Kaz is here though. Tailwind's out to safety, so now Reform walks off that with man advantage.
Yes, Eugene S going
Spike
big
planted.
here. Zercus eSports with so much bank, they went for a triple op setup. Already 2 of those operators have fallen because of how fast Eugene S is playing. Reply does put a reply onto Worship, but Nasby's there for the trade. That's the Spectre. That's found out
enemy
working out.
remaining.
Eugene S with the saved up operator takes Cast out of the tower. And now it's all down to Retnerp on a 1 versus 3. Looking like Reform Esports will be finally getting their 3rd round.
Looks like it. Retnerp.
Don't
And
give
time
me that.
ticking
Don't give me those
away.
lines. No, see, I'm sure they get it, right? There's no way.
There's no way again. I
Switching
agreed with you right
sides.
there. I didn't mean to sound like I wasn't. But Reform, they're able to take us at least into the 9-3 score line. Will they be able to pull out the curse here? Let's see. That's the hope that they have right now. Of course, quick reminder to everyone that this is a best of 3 and Reform already won the first game of the night. So if they secure this one, the night is done and they move on into the grand finals. Zercus, they've gotten a lot of ground here again, and the pistol round is absolutely where it's at for Reform. They have to win this. They absolutely have to.
Disrupt is the man who'll be holding on the B side. Looks like Zercus Esports are looking to make a quick push on the B side. They have a raise. They could easily take out the SIP tripwires that Disrupt has set up here. Spike cams up. They will be spotting this as soon as they make the push. Looking like they will slow it down though, despite the toxic screen being put up very late into the round. Disrupt drops from the spike cam at the wrong timing. Now he hears him everything. But Cass jumps right into the Cypher trap. But not enough. Disrupt is trying to jump up with his classic. Gets the shot in with 22 HP left. Gador's there for chiming it in. Disrupt's not done, just jumping around. A flawless round suddenly from Reform Esports. They bring back the momentum, and it looks like they're trying to take it all the way.
They absolutely steamrolled in that round. That was so quick in Reform. Everyone was in B side by the end of things, and that was so clean for them as well. Oh, what a turn of tides right there for Reform. And we said it, they needed to win the pistol, and they did it such convincingly. Now they pick up the guns. Eugene S on that Marshall as well. And that's a lot of ground being bought by those shenanigans. And Reform, just when we thought they were down in the dumps, they pick up the tempo once more. Let's see if they're going to do it one more time in the next round, that is, because this one for sure is going to go their way.
Yes, for sure is going to go their
Yes.
way. This is just their eco round of Zercus Esports. I mean, just cons with the Headhunter, Kaz with the Sheriff. Of course, Kaz will be spotting out this Marshall very soon. Eugene S has the Marshall and the full shields. All he needs is one shot, one tap in the body. There we go, just to take anyone out with the Marshall if they don't have the shields to keep them alive. And with that first shot, that's Kaz down. Sheriff is down. Retner picks it up. They do retake this middle side. They have mid control, and now they're just waiting for whichever they want to go for. A is, of course, very heavily guarded by Reform Esports, so it looks like it's going to be the B push for Zercus.
Well, both sides are heavily.
Ow!
Oh my gosh. It's
20 down.
Gadors has to back off with 20 health. Barely surviving off of that one. He'll be playing a bit more passively now as he's down to red health. Cons doesn't land the headshot. And it's just Nasmi cleaning up after the fact. 2 members, he knows exactly where they both are.
30 seconds
Teleport
left.
to safety this time, so might just go for the push once more. Does not have the paranoia
player
at the ready, and he
standing.
goes for a beautiful play. Gets for another swing, doesn't wing it against Retnerp though, but it's a 1 versus 4. Again, no way for him to win this. He does get to 1 before he falls off, so that's damage, but Reform, they're happy to win that round for themselves, and this time it's the guns to work against.
Yeah, the big guns now for rifles. Just 4 rifles for Zercus Esports. Reply will just be opting for the Spectre. And over on to Reform Esports, they do have a judge in play for Gadors. I'm curious to see where this judge goes, if it's going to fly up and try to take out the members really quick here, or go for the play, go for the clip. But it looks like it's just going to be a slow hold over on the mid side for Gadors' side, while the rest of Zercus Esports looking to push up this A side.
Taking a page out of the Reform book, they're taking things a little bit faster here, but no blast back inside means that Cats will just casually be walking into that site. Disrupt is the one to welcome them with open arms. Woo! Can't find anything, but it's Worship and Disrupt to finally pull through! What was that? Reform, where did they come from again? They're suddenly here up to their faces, and they pick up the upgrades as well.
Beautiful flash coming out from Worship. Flashes every single member of Zercus eSports, and immediately they come down from the sky. Reform eSports, they take that site in style. 9-6 now is on the scoreboard, looking like they're still going to be taking their momentum back. Zercus eSports back on an equal round, and our classic Red Nerf Stinger.
Yeah. Rednerp just loves his stingers, man. But seems like there's gonna be another A hit right here. They will all get concussed up by that fault line. Two members this time hanging about in A to guard that up. Flashbacks and Cass, but got nothing going against the judge who picks up
down
2.
A.
Worship is there to make it a 3 kill.
One enemy remaining.
At the end of things, Eugene S is already here, leaving Reply all alone after Retnip falls. He's got too many members to watch out for. At least he does get the Vandal for himself, so he might do a bit of damage here, but Reform's bank is looking pretty good already.
Yeah, Reply still has the full light shields that he absolutely wants to have, and the Vandal buy as well. Eugene S making a lot of noise, making sure he doesn't get peeked up over onto this A elbow side. Reply finally retrieves the spike, although Reform did not know he did not have that spike. This means Reply will be able to get behind enemy lines. Eugene S was not expecting it. He was expecting that the plant will finally come down to this A side, but it was actually Reply just looking to try and retrieve the spike instead. 40 seconds left, and the timing! Nazmi takes one shot through the dark cover. Reply falls. It looked almost doable for him, but finally they take back their momentum.
Oh no. It's looking a lot like second game here. First game rather again. Reform. And this is exactly where we were at the second half of things in a sense. 4 rounds in a row that Reform has won. It seems like Reform was giving them so much credit on the attacking side, but they're showing us definitely that they are a force to be reckoned with on the defense as well in Split. Gotta remember, guys, this is their map pick, and they're definitely showing us why.
Nazmi. Oh no, stuck by the gravity well and the concuss. Reply will get an easy frag onto him. Eugene S does take out Cons from the middle side, but Kaz actually trades him out. No tailwind for him to get out of there. And with that, it's going to be man advantage for our attackers, Zercus eSports. Although they changed the pace there, they slowed it down. They could have gone to B side for clear for free, but they will try to reset and get the default set. They want to make sure that they are working out on their favorite. Gadors is stuck in the middle. He was unable to see the fly up because of the concussed visuals. And with that, Reform is falling one by one.
I was actually confused there for a sec because actually Gadors wasn't concussed, but
He couldn't see it because of the visuals. He was blinded.
Yeah, because of the Astra. But, here we go, Cass. Oh, he spots Disrupt in the nick of time, and there you go. The double think to follow through quickly. And Zercus, they're quick to actually stop this momentum from getting out of their hands. 10-7. You gotta remember, there's still so many rounds ahead, and at the end of things, they're still 3 rounds up. You're in the double digits now, so Reform definitely feeling the pressure.
Definitely. That, especially since Zercus eSports had to use so many of their ultimates last round. Although they still have the showstopper in the ready, and Prem is just 2 away for his Viper Spit. So they're getting ready for the second round of big ultimates. But Reform eSports, all their ultimates are on the ready themselves. Despite Worship and Gadors out of it though.
Rolling Thunder not available anymore for either teams. Disrupt still holding on to that Neural Theft actually. But Eugene S backing off. Won't be spotting anyone out quite early with this operator. Especially because nobody is here apart from that lurking Viper on Prime.
Go get him.
Mid is where the issue is being pressed by Cass and the gang. Gadores will be chucking that nade for good measure. Actually flashing them out as well. They're not pushing up. Aftershock is going to halt that push completely, but we still got mid control here, Zercus.
Yeah, they're still trying to push it up no matter what. Anyway, they still have the strategy and the ability to bring it up. And here we go, another fault line to shut them down. Showstopper being used. This should spot them out, but only gets the damage onto Nazmi. Nazmi stays alive. Kaz is unable to respond. He gets distracted by Worship, but Nazmi and Gadores finally show up and try to shut them down. Retnip finally cleans up the tower side at the back. It is Eugene S. He's just waiting for the lurk, but Retnip looks behind! And that's just a heartbreaker for Reform eSports. This one walking by, doesn't check the hell side, Reply will punish him for that.
I think that shot actually connected from Eugene S, but unfortunately was, I think, on the foot of Retnerp, which is why he didn't fall off of that. And oh man, Reform 2 rounds in a row that they've lost means that they've barely got any guns to work with now. Unfortunate, they didn't get the first touch, so Disrupt wasn't able to use that neural theft. But fact of the matter is, they knew where the push was going to happen. Just the showstopper was too much to deal against, and really good job for the entry right there for Kaz.
You want to play? Let's play.
Getting punished very quickly for Eugene S means that we might be headed for game 3 here again.
It does seem like it so far. Let's see if Reform can finally reform back their ground, because Zercus eSports, they're looking good right now. They've used up so many of their ultimates. As we've mentioned, they've used their second round of ultimates, and they still have one more, which is Prame, who will be backing up here. He tried to get the ultimate orb from the A side, but immediately had to back up to the fault lines. Eugene S from the middle, though, giving the action, does not want to wait it, puts it back, and that will be the man advantage for Reform eSports.
Nasty shot right there for Eugene S. And the threat of the blade still alive. Gador is just a judge to work with, so his flank might not be the best idea right here. With Red holding suit. Eugene S finally taken care of by that ulti, and Red takes care of the judge that's flanking, but Disrupt even things out. So still a 3-on-3, uses the neural theft for good measure. They know exactly where everyone is, but without the firepower, I doubt they'll be able to pull through. There we go. They fall one by one, leaving Worship all alone to his utilities avail. Fortunately, he has a pretty good spot right now, but has to give his positioning away, and Khan just takes him out through the smoke, no less. Match point for Zercus.
And
Match
Reform
point.
eSports playing for the long game. Not only is Zercus on the match point, but they have the Cosmic Divide and Viper's Pit on the ready. They need Gador's ultimate orbs up on that showstopper to try and shut down this green marshmallow if it does get used up here. So Zercus eSports, they got everything that they want to do right here in the last remaining rounds here with the match point. It's a pressure on the Reform eSports. Eugene S is on this operator, so this man is going to have to go big and get these shots going.
5 rounds. They have to win 5 perfect rounds here again. All starting with this. As long as Reform plays with consistently and, well, perfectly, they might just go for the comeback overtime here. The Cosmic Divide and the Viper Split are both up, so as long as you get through the post-plant, Zercus are looking all set and done for this game. Pressing the issue now into B Heaven, where they will be met by Gadorus. Chucks that nade in, but no idea that Khan is here. Has the rendezvous away. So still, no push happening down in B Heaven.
Zercus eSports, they exhausted so many utilities to try and clear up the tower side, and they had to back off because of Gadorus. Although they do leave Reply to stay alive here to make sure the tower still is somewhat in control. Let's not forget Disrupt is the Cypher and the man holding down this B side. They need to take out these traps as well. Cass has the satchels. Here we go. First and second. Does hop over the trap twice, but Disrupt is on the ready with the angle. Gets the second on the cons as well. Still alive on 22 HP left. Cosmic Divide being used, and Prime falls again. Disrupt with another secondary powerful angle. And finally, Reform eSports looking like they will win this round flawlessly.
What a setup right there for Disrupt. It single-handedly stopped the push. Rednerf looking to make some damage, but Eugene S shuts it all down. What a defensive hold right there for Disrupt. I mean, there was 2 ults to work against him, but he shut it all down single-handedly. Beautiful job right there for the Cypher, but again, it's still 12-8. It's still match point, so
4 to go.
yes. Repeat that 4 times in a row and Disrupt. Good job. But yes, massive task still.
This man has been a rat since the first half, lurking around and he's coming in as the defender rat as well, running around this side. This man has not been spotted. They don't know how to deal with him so far, but looking like they will be avoiding him anyway. Looking like it will be mid presence once more from Zercus eSports to try and clear up the map control and maybe for this A side. They still have Viper Spit on the ready and waiting.
Yeah, still looking like a pretty good post plant as long as they get to that point. Because as you mentioned, the Viper Spit is still up for Prame, provided Prame doesn't fall before the plant goes through. Mid seems to be the answer once more for Zercus as they claim control of it.
There.
Quite interesting that Reform actually willing to give that area time after some time now. But still, Heaven. A lot of noise being made. Worship is there to provide that haltage with the breach. It seems like they're turning things around into A's side. Oh, so many sound keys being made. And rotations now making their way through. 3 members here, and the first shot to connect for
Spike
Eugene
down
S.
A.
Gets the first kill for Reform. Nasmi unaccounted for down in hell. He doesn't get concussed off of that, so this Cons has to be careful here. He doesn't spot Nasmi out. He
One enemy
goes for the
remaining.
second swing, but doesn't get it. It's Eugene S to close it out. On top of Gadowers picking up 2. And Reform, they buy a bit more space. And ever so slowly, Zercus, their bank is going to be broken. But this round is just not it yet. But the next might just be it for Reform.
Yep. Zercus eSports, they've only got bank for 2 more rounds, including this one, and then the next one. So if Reform eSports can push that envelope all the way 2 more rounds, that puts Zercus eSports on round 11. That puts Reform eSports on their 11th round, I mean. And then Zercus eSports will have to be pressured if they lose these next 2 rounds.
Eugene S has really been going to town with this operator. And might find another one right here. So many members down in mid waiting for the push. But Zercus, they seem to have sniffed it out. Eugene S gets smoked off. Sneakily backs off for now. And so far, this mid control has been uncontested for Zercus. But let's see if they're going to follow through, because the past couple of rounds, they haven't been able to.
Yep, right now, this time around, they're finally taking control of the tower side. But again, it is Gadowers holding down the angle, and he has a showstopper as well. If he pretty much satchels in right now, he's going to take all 3 out.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. Only us observers know that. So he will be waiting with this. Just the paint shells to slow down any sort of the push. Instead, he is getting a lot of information as well. They will hear a lot of steps onto the vent side, where Eugene S, again, the way Reform Esports is playing is just trying to play it so safely, making sure that they don't make any mistakes at all.
Satchel out.
Cast throws out the nade. In response is another nade by the counterpart Raze. At the end of the day, he walks off
30
of that with
seconds left.
37 health, no healers. Meaning that he will be stuck with that amount of health for the remainder of this round. But now, sound cues have been made. Ace side seems to be the target. But here comes Eugene
no.
S. Doesn't get the shot off, but he looks for another. He gets it caught. Is the first to fall. Kaz is next to follow. The Viper's Pit now being committed. Showstopper is there as a response. But Shorty actually halts the push, but it actually is a little bit too late. Prem now goes to work. 26 health and a dream with the Viper's Pit. So it's all going to boil down to this 2v2.
What a play coming out from these 2 teams. Prem has made the reload happen, so they know he's going to come up from behind, and that's Viper's Pit now. It's all down to replying on a 1 versus 2 situation against Worship and Disrupt. They don't have the power of the Duelist, and they've already used up the flashpoints and the fault line. So now it's Reply with a counter of his own. Here comes the fault line of his own. He almost gets Disrupt. He spots the members, but he hears both of them drop down. So now all he has to do is wait up onto this heaven side. The defuse, the tick is going. Reply has to get the shot in, but the half was there, and they will have enough time for this defuse. Such a close game between these 2.
Reform, you gotta love the adaptation for them. We saw in the past game that whenever it comes down to it, Reform, they stick to their roots. They go for the aggression. This time, they showed us that they could actually adapt to Zercus. They're slowing things down, and they're playing the game 1 kill at a time, and it's working so well for them. And part of it is because Eugene's been absolutely consistent with the first bloods with the operators, and another is that every single member of Reform is just refusing to go down without a fight. All of them are just winning duels, getting those trades out, and Zercus, they're struggling on this attack.
Yes, they got the momentum first 3 on the second half, but that's all they were able to get. And now this is the last round that they've got for Zercus eSports to even play with all this full buy utilities. Because if they lose this one for Zercus side, they're gonna lose. They're gonna have a very awkward buy in this last round of the second half.
See though, it's all gonna boil down to the first touch. Will they get the first kill against Kaz here, or rather Gadors? Whoever falls first. No one as of yet, but there you go. Look at the combination of the breach and the raise. Such a headache to deal with for both teams. But again, it seems like A is the area where they want to commit this time, making things a little bit faster. Still a bit of time left, but Zercus seems like they're decided on A.
Yeah, Prem getting tagged down all the way to 1 HP while he tried to scooch over this heaven side, getting tagged down by Nasby. But looks like the push will be again on this A side. They had a successful one last time. Looks like they will have an extra successful one with the Rolling Thunder being used. Nasby hiding inside a smoke! And Reply was not expecting him to be close on that angle. Gets the shot in. Frame does finally take out Eugene S. And Nazmi and Cons, they're just backing up, trading back and forth. They do get the spike plant. It's still a 3 versus 3. And now it's anyone's game. Cons is hiding right in the hillside. He should be spotting Kadors here as he crosses fast. But Kadors is the one who gets the shot.
3-on-2 Reform with the man advantage. And they double up. Oh, actually, it's traded out by Kaz. So still equal footing for both of these teams. No up in the game anymore, but it's Retner gets the first kill in this post plant. It's all down to Disrupt to save this round. He spots out the first, but it's Kaz to close it out. 13-10. We're going to game number 3, and Zercus finally able to close down Split.
They finally shut down that match point. They had it for so long, and that will be the end. It was a nice try for Reform Esports. They almost went to infinity and beyond with our map 2 split on their map pick as well. And again, we're going to the decider map Haven. Both of these teams were unable to secure their map pick despite a very strong hold. But other than that, looks like we're going to be opting for that third map.
Yeah, Zercus, they took their sweet time as well. That was the last possible round they could have gone for the pull buy, and about to secure it. Now, we're going into map number 3, and like you said we're going into Haven. So stay tuned, folks, because we'll be right back after the short break.
Hello and welcome back to KJC Esports Updraft. I'm Gen and I'm here with Datum. We are your shoutcasters for today's semifinals and we are already on our map 3 of this best of 3. What an amazing matchup so far we've got here, Datum.
Yeah, well, that last game again, I was so hopeful that we're actually going to get our first 2-0 of Updraft. But we're blessed once again with
Yep.
another 1-1 best of 3. And of course, it's between Reform and Zercus, no less. And these two teams are really fighting tooth and nail just to get to the grand finals. And neither one wants to let up. So, we're going into Haven. So neither team wants to give up. That last game almost was a comeback for Reform. Unfortunately, Zercus just just zero room to work with for Reform. If perhaps it was just 11 in that not match point for Zercus, maybe Reform might have gunned for the comeback. But we're here. We're in Haven. And I'm excited for this last game. I'm excited to see who is going to advance into the grand finals.
Yeah, it was a great try for Reform Esports, but Zercus just got so many rounds out of their first half. They just couldn't control the pressure ongoing. But before that, of course, we'd like to give a special thanks to our official sponsors, Vertigear and Coda Shop. By the way, these two guys are having a giveaway right now in KJC Esports, exclamation point giveaway. So go ahead and get the join on that. And as well, special thanks to our co-organizer, Cyberport.
Absolutely. To our folks who are watching from Singapore, you can actually win a Verta gear chair. So make sure to tune in and join that giveaway. Now, going back into the game where Haven is where we're going. We're seeing another matchup of breaches potentially, but no, it's actually Reform who does go for the breach, and Zercus, they're going for the Killjoy. So a lot of defensive options for Zercus.
Zercus, they even have Kaz on the Reina as well. So
Mhm.
exciting to see the Empress mode here. I mean, we weren't able to see much in the quarterfinals, but hopefully here in Haven, there will be more out of it. So that will be their flash, their long-range Lear as well for them. But of course, Reform Esports, they were able to play Haven before in the quarterfinals, so they should be very comfortable here on this map. Gador of course, with that breach, and then the combo with Eugene S.
Choose your agent.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, we've said should be so many times today and yesterday as well, and so many things should be going one way, and then it goes completely 180 and the other way. So at this point, I don't even know what to expect anymore, apart from, of course, what our teams are going to be playing with here. And it seems like another matchup of different controllers here. Retnerp going once more for the Astra and Disrupt going for the Omen. So different strats, different approaches once more for both of our teams. I like it.
Yeah, Zercus Esports, they absolutely love their Astra, even though Astra was nerfed down almost to the ground because of how long the cooldowns are now for just to pick up her stars or even her skills at all. So with that, Astra we will still be seeing the Astra in play, although there won't be a breach to combo it up with the gravity well and concuss to even clear up the A site. Something that Reform should be able to do as Gadors is holding on to it.
This time though, we only have one breach, and as you mentioned, it's not with the Astra, it's with the Omen. So I'm expecting this to only, or rather, to be maximized on the attacking side. That is. But of course, it's Reform we're talking about. They are very creative when it comes to their utility usage. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm surprised that both teams actually opted for the Killjoy. Sort of a dying meta now. Killjoy played less and less, but both teams happy to pick that up.
All right, Eugene S getting a beautiful positioning as well. They're not looking at his position. They're giving it away as well. Cass just walks right past through. Eugene S is looking for more before he starts shooting him down. He gets one, and the second is... This is right into reply was not ready. He had the knife out. He gets one more down. Eugene S playing for the clip and the play. Might get one more, but Conch finally shuts the man down. They were unable to spot him out. He was waiting right in the middle of the teams, and now... Gadors and the rest of the team should be able to take out Kaz, but will he fall? Because remember, this is still the Reina. You've got to be intimidated. The overheal is finally out of it, but with that, only 100 HP left. Just one tap on the head with that one of the Ghost or Classic, and there it is. The crossfire is there for Reform Esports. Zercus almost tries to come back from that, but Eugene S with just a beautiful play.
Eugene S absolutely exploded in the faces of Zercus right there. Massive pickups with just the frenzy and the pistol round. made it absolutely easy for his team to follow through as Reform pick up that first round of this Haven third map or third game of the night. Reformed are looking pretty set in this round number 2, and Zercus, they're not going for the force buy, just the Sheriffs, which is quite expected to me at this point, because both of these teams, they rarely go for the force buys in round 2.
Yeah, but you never know, right? Worship getting vulnerable, Gravity welled out, so he has to back away here. He does have the Aljon to get some information that Weekend Bolt was already gotten destroyed. There's a Killjoy turret watching the backs of Zercus Esports, so they will realize if there is a lurk going on, which is Reform trying to take control of course, the map in the middle side. Here we go. Worship pulls out the Aljon at the best timing he could, because he's about to spot the 1-2 and then 3-4. Everyone at all from Zercus Esports with just that Aljon. Immediately Reform Esports looking for that rotation, especially since Gadors has the backhand already.
Beautiful Jesse Vash Aldrone right there. Just spots everyone out, but now the push happening from all sides. The pincer, this is it. Everyone's pushing up, but Cass is the one to get the first touch. Disrupt is still unaccounted for though, and he picks up one quite easily. The next one to follow suit by Nasmi.
Down, attacker
He mows down
spawn.
2 members, but actually Zercus doing a pretty good job of trading things out, and reply is there with the upgrade, so this might be doable.
Yeah, they don't have spike control, but these members are scattered
30
across
seconds
the map.
left.
Disrupt will be the one holding this spike, so they will know that he is holding out here. And look at this positioning from Reply. Reply actually scope, run around the map, and now he's gonna get behind Disrupt. But will he check out this corner? Disrupt actually expect this and starts
enemy
looking the
remaining.
right direction and will be able to take out Reply. So now it's all up to Cons to
10
retrieve this
seconds
spike
left.
with just a share of 10 seconds left. He has to die now if he wants to give away the economy. But there we go. Disrupt finally shutting him down.
Gotta love it. Reform. The aggression once more. They're sticking to their roots. And why wouldn't they? They pushed up. It is the eco after all. They've got very little to fight against apart from the Sheriffs. Let's see if they're gonna make a repeat of those shenanigans. And it seems like they will. Look, it's a 4 stack down in C. We might be seeing some cheeky plays here from Reform. But let's see. Might not.
Nope, they immediately back off, so they will still do the gamble of having 3 on the C side. Earlier they had it on the A, now they pushed up on the C. Still a breach and a jet combo. Here comes the fault line, flash in the fault line. Eugene S will easily retake this ultimate orb, and now Zercus Esports, they're running down the clock. They're not sure what to do because C long has been pushed, although the garage has been cleared up for their side. They have to reset.
Absolutely have to. Reform. Losing one member in that matter, but Disrupt is good for 1. What a shot from that Omen. From downtown as well. Oh! But that's by
Spike
control
down
by
mid.
Reform. So this might be a struggle right now for Zercus as they have to peek that. Thankfully enough, Cons will be able to win that swing against Eugene S. But still a 3-on-3. Fortunately for Zercus, no upgrades for Reform so far.
Yep, they all still have their rifles to play with. Of course, Khan is still on the Vanguard. He's got only 50 HP left. Looking like they will try to do some sort of shenanigan over on the B side, hopefully. But looking like they will be creeping out on this A side where Nasby is actually set up. So this is looking kind of grim for Zercus Esports.
Absolutely. Still a bit of time to work with, 30 seconds, but slowly taking away for Zercus.
30 seconds
A
left.
site is a pretty good decision here because the only thing that's gonna stop them here is that turret, and it's already been taken care of. So that's the tailwind into site. Cons will not be met by any resistance. This should be the post plant. This should be the plan for Zercus. Let's see if they're gonna be able to hold the line
Spike
here.
planted.
Nasby does only have the Spectre, but Vandals, rifles across the board for everyone else.
Yes, he also has control of the long. He has information. He has his alarm bot there. He was never triggered at all. So now it's going to be an awkward push-up for Reform Esports because now Zercus Esports definitely has the upper hand here. The recon ball does spot one, checks out to the hell side, but Cons is there on the ready. The crossfire is there. Zercus Esports will easily clean up their bonus round. Although they lost and used up a lot of their utilities, it's still a round. A round is a round.
Yeah, round is around, and Zercus pick up their first of this first game, or rather, third game. And they have enough bank to work with anyway, so we got pretty good. It looks like smooth sailing from now on from Zercus, but not if Reform's got something to say about it, and they've got their guns too. So again, another game in our hands again.
2-1 is the score. Eugene Ness only with the shorty, but the Blade Storm, as mentioned, looking like he's trying to see what he can spot here over in the middle side. Every single member of Zercus Esports, this is the first time we see them really slow down everything at all. They're waiting for Reform Esports to make a push. They're playing the heavy default of Haven, so giving away a lot of this map control, just waiting from their spawn side, hoping to find any of the members of Reform Esports, because remember, this is Haven, and you know the defense should be stretched out thin. Ooh, Worship just spot the Blaze Sword pass by. That's Khans, and he will be Khan's still pushing it up here. He has the tailwind and the updraft. He could make a play here, although the crossfire is set up for Reform. Gador is ready with a flash. Here comes a flash. Khan's is not affected. He gets a nice right click and the headshot as well onto Gador. Gador has to fault line away, and that is the cue that Reform Esports has lost one, and the push is coming in for Zercus Esports.
Nothing to answer for it. Apart from Eugene, who picks up one with his own blaze. Two blades left here.
Oh no!
Got to get the kill so that he can get the kills and Reform. They've taken over the post. Not even a post plan. It was just completely shut down. The push 3-1.
Eugene S with again another big play. He showed himself up, got one out of the 4 that was peeking his angle, and was able to tailwind away. Because of that, Zercus Esports were unable to respond and got so confused by this little jet player running around the map, which gave up so much wave for the rest of his team to just spray down the dark cover, get the rotations in, and that is a round again for Reform Esports.
You're just so good with these quick rotations. Zercus, when that happens, there's not really much you can do against it, which is why they are seemingly pushing up the tempo now. They gotta be careful because again, Reform, they're so quick to rotate. Everyone's already making their way here, Eugene included, picking up Cass with no danger to him whatsoever. There you go, response will be there. Khans will be doubling it up and getting the upgrade as well. Eugene S is looking very confident with this
planted.
Yeah, he's already deep in, no tailwind to play with here, so he's gonna have to opt for just the cloudburst to get out of there. Khan's waiting at the angle, get a nice headshot. That's a lot of damage.
Absolutely, much more than what you need. Brave doesn't see anything, but Eugene S with the shorty picks him up quite easily, jumping up and about. Reply or 5 HP, doesn't even get a single kill out of that. The Fuse 2 come through on Reform. They're looking back in form.
Eugene S is going so big right now, especially with the first blood on that operator. He was able to take out Kaz. Kaz was Empress mode on, and because of that, they were unable to get any more space on the A side, looking like it should have been a big push for them. And now this is a timeout much needed for Zercus Esports. They need to talk about what is happening here. None of their defaults, none of their strats have been working out. Reform Esports keep countering every single time. This is something we've seen Reform Esports do in the quarterfinals in their own Haven map.
Might be time to pull out the bait and switch here because lockdown finally available for Reply. There's the Cosmic Divide as well. So let's see if they actually may pull through here with just that. They did show it earlier in game number 1, and it did work out beautifully for them. So Zercus, might be time to pull it off again, especially considering this is a pivotal round for them. This is the if they lose this, they don't have any creds in the next one.
Yeah, they're forcing everything up here. Reply has to be careful with his lockdown. Despite having it available, Gadors is still here alive with the aftershock, so they need to bait that out, as well as Worship if Worship ever gets into that Hunter's Fury mode.
Let's see though. Eugene S has been an absolute terror at spotting out just the key members of Zercus. Well, if you think about it, every single member is a key member, but when you've got the Empress activated like that, and you take him out instantly without getting anything out of it, super efficient and proficient with the options. It hasn't been punished as of yet. And Seaside is aware that big cannon of a gun is hanging about now, and ZC steering clear of it.
Yep, it's again still the big default coming out from Reform Esports. So the operator does show up and will be backing out now, looking to reposition himself. But it looks like Zercus Esports, although this is their usual default, they pick up much more map control, a little bit more inching up now into the garage side. The Khans is getting sprayed down so far from the garage doors, but No information yet. Aldron finally to come in. The turret should spot him, and that comes as well. Nasby giving him the cue to do the spray down. That puts Cons down to 70, half HP already very early on. That's their duelist. That's their entry down and about. Kaz is still alive here. He's got the Lear, one more to play with, and then Worship is still huddling about in the A side.
No one fallen as of yet, and everyone actually huddling into C site by Reform, apart from a Worship who doesn't
Here we
hear
go.
anything, has no clue that
30 seconds
this
left.
push is
Why'd you
potentially
find it?
happening. There you go. He hears a lot of noise now, and he's still on the count of 4. He gets spotted out by the recon. That's an easy spam by Reply. And it's gonna have to be the post strat 4 on 5, but Disrupt the TP's in early to potentially catch anyone
Spike
off guard,
planted.
but he doesn't. At least he stays alive for now.
Ooh,
Oh.
here
You
it
should
comes. The lockdown being used and a counter lockdown as well. Gadors has the aftershock. He should be able to take out their lockdown. So because of that, they should be able to push up anyway very easily. Zercus eSports pushed all the way back. One detained as well. They have to get back to the side. The defuse has started. The shots come in. Reply does get the first shot. Gador's fallen. The defuse is still offering. Nanoswarm should slow them down, but will he try to push through? He will! He sticks the defuse, and Eugene S even finishing off the remaining members as well. What a play from Reform Esports.
Yeah, I think that was on the literal last millisecond. That was exactly at the same time that he died that he got the defuse off. But man, oh man, Reform. A beautiful combination of the lockdown and the from the shadows there from Disrupt. I mean, I was surprised that Kaz actually wasn't expecting that push from happening, considering Reply spotted out the TP on Disrupt. But unfortunate circumstance right there for ZC means that they lose that round and they lose the guns. Look at them. They only got Sheriffs and Stingers.
Favorite stingers that we always see from Retner. Don't get to see them in action, but Retner, Eugene S gets scanned out. He gets there with a way, getting ready well as well. Getting fusing up every single utility he could use to stay alive with the shots as well. Nasby finally sprays them down. So Content Cast finally takes so much more, and as well as Worship with the Hunter's Fury just takes control of the side again peacefully now. They should have gotten the default. Worship will finally take out Reply. What a round.
Oh, that was touch and go there for a second for Reform. I was so scared. I thought ZC might be able to close that one out with 2 explosive kills from Cons. But at the end of the day, it's the firepower that will sing the final tune as Reform happy with the outcome of that round. Unfortunately, their bank, I'm surprised that their bank actually isn't built up, because look, even if they've won 4 consecutive rounds in a row, they still have barely any creds if they lose this one.
Definitely true, and now they're looking like to push up the C side again. They got a lot of confidence from last one. They know they were able to pick up a lot from it. Nasby's the one who's be holding it down here. He got the Nanoswarm, but he's got no shot. Cass finally shuts him down. The spike should be planted, and this will be a very difficult time for Reform Esports, because it's now a post-plant situation for
Spike
Zercus.
planted.
Oh, but Reform, they've got the Rolling Thunder though, just waiting for the rotation, the doors before he pulls the trigger. There you go, Cons is flying up and about. There goes the Blaze to pick up one, looking for the next target as Eugene S pressing the issue down in C long. That's a lot of utility being made its way early into the spike, and that just means that Reform can push up. They're picked up too quite quickly. Reply, Retner, they've fallen down as well. Retner, last one standing, can't do anything about the defuse, and Reform, they picked up their 7th round.
Again, another counter, and even the last frag as well, as Retner falls. That was Zercus Esports gun round, and they couldn't do anything. They get the side, they get all these positionings, but every single time Reform always bounces back. 7 rounds on the board now. Zercus Esports looking at only 1. Not enough breathing space for them. They need a few more. There's only 4 rounds left from our first half.
4 rounds left, but Reform are 6 rounds ahead. It's back to the eco once more for Zercus. At least they have the Cosmic Divide working, and Retner, well, on that signature Stinger once more, of course. The Worship is unspotted right here. The off will be spotted, but Worship will not. Picks up the first shock darts to safety as well, and that's an easy first guy for Reform.
very big frag as well. That was Cons with the Blade Storm. Ghidorah is even taking out Reply, so that takes out any sort of lurk guard. So now Reform Esports, they're in full control. Kaz does have the hero buy with this Vandal, but he needs to go big now because 2 of his members already lost their lives. And Nasby still has a lockdown to play with just in case a plant comes in.
Op still in play as well for Eugene S. And the only option right now is B side, but it's not the easiest to defend on the post plant, especially when you've got a 2-man deficit. But
Still in sight.
not a lot of choice anyway for ZC, so they're pushing up here. Paranoia not working in favor of Kaz, but gonna buy him a bit of time. Flashpoint is
enemy
beautiful.
remaining.
Ghidorah! He spots them both out mid-flash, and Worship cleans it up for the flawless and for the 7th round advantage.
What a play coming out from our Ghidorah's number 5 key on the observer list here. And Eugene Ness, they just Reform Esports. Again, they secure another round. 8 rounds now. Zercus Esports, it looked like they were
Placing
looking
sentry.
good here as they push up, but that's all they get. Reform Esports just keeps countering them every single time. It's like they've read them like a book. Despite Reform Esports already playing back in the quarterfinals, Zercus Esports looking like they need to do more homework. But let's see if they can finally shut down these last 3 rounds, because now they've got the guns, now they've got the weapons. What kind of play can they do, because their default is just not working out.
7 rounds in a row that Eugene S has the op. And it's still going strong this time. Positioned up in C site, hunkered in the bunker. That's the same is true for Ghidorah's, who is hanging about behind B site. This is where the tailwind has already been committed by Cons up and above. But you gotta be careful here, because Ghidorah is getting pummeled by every bit of utility. And he's gonna fall down, but there's the lockdown in response. Another response is going to be that Hunter's Fury. As there you go, Reform. What a shot! Another from Eugene S. Beautiful swing right there. And ZC, what's left of them anyway, is running for the hills, recuperating down in A.
Oh, that's all they could get. Again, this back and forth. Reform Esports playing so well, out of their minds right now. Zercus Esports unable to adapt, but finally they get another spike plant, and this time around they've got their counter lockdown. Worship is here, he's trying to give them some cover for the rotations. The recon bot comes out, and now they know that both players are on this side. One in the corner and one somewhere close by. So now all you have to do is wait out this lockdown, although Reform Worship does give himself in the lockdown position. The corner does not get checked! Nasby will finally trade him out. Nasby looking for more. 6 HP left. Here comes Worship from the heaven side. He was locked down. He was waiting it out, and now finally Reform Esports take it back once more.
Oh, those shots from Eugene S. It's scary at this point. And well, he did fall in that round, but he still got the op comfortably sitting on Nasmi's hands. So Reform, they're still looking pretty good on this next one. 9-1 is the scoreline, and Zercus is just not having a good game whatsoever. They invested so much in that round as well, the Hunter's Fury and the lockdown, but to no avail.
Yep.
I'm trying to rack my brain as to what they can do here again, but it's just so much. Reform is just too much right now to deal with.
Yeah. Especially since Ghidorah's is 1 away for his ultimate orb. Nasby does get tagged down a little bit. They know Nasby has been doing this every single time, so that's something that they absolutely have a read now of. Here comes the Cosmic Divide being used. This makes it an easy plan for them on this B side, unless Ghidorah uses this Aftershock and slows it down. Of course, Hunter's Fury is also on the ready. Just the out one looking for the spot. There's the spot as well. Here comes the Hunter.
Gotta plant this again, otherwise the Cosmic Divide is gonna go to waste. Cass trying to find that damage, but they're actually going to back off here with Cass becoming that damage. Still a 3-on-3 at the end of the day, but low health bars for Cons, Reply, and Retnerp. They're all just one shot apart from Retnerp, who is still full health, but still, this might be a doable round for ZC.
Yeah, that's, you know, we like to say that, right? We love saying those kind of things. It's kind of doable, should be, and everything like that. But let's not forget.
Stay realistic.
We started this round with Ghidorah's has Rolling Thunder ready. Here it
Spike
comes,
planted.
and this will make it a lot easier for the push-up for our good old Reform Esports team. But of course, Zercus Esports, they are prepared and waiting for this. They are expecting that the Rolling Thunder will come about. Here comes the turret spotting the push-up from the side. Here it comes, Rolling Thunder.
Oh, here we go. Push. Disrupt is there. They just walk out the first card as well. Red
Player
will be good for
standing.
one, but Goal is already going for the okay, and he gets it so quickly. What a swing as well. Oh man, Reform. Every single one of them are feeling it right now. They're feeling very, very good about this game.
They're looking so
Last
strong.
round before the
Zercus
switch.
eSports unable to respond. We're already on the last round of this first half. 10-1 is the score right now in favor of Reform eSports. Every single time Zercus eSports try to pull something out, Reform eSports just bounces back and counters it.
Oh, it's the last round of the half, and at least Zercus has got just enough to go for the Vandals and half shields. But man, they've committed so many ultimates round after round after round after round to no avail. How many rounds has it been since Reform lost? Since Eugene did not have an operator? I don't even
8.
remember. I can't even count right now, but oh man. 10-1. This is looking very, very different from the first two games.
Yeah, we're having a technical pause at the moment. We'll be back and the game will resume very soon here. Looking like Reform eSports, just like the last game or last game. Remember that it was Zercus eSports side that time around that they had so much cash, so much bank to play with. They just opted to buy up all these heavy weapons, triple ops and whatnot. But for Reform eSports, it's gonna be the Odins. So these are going to be very huge, and let's see what kind of spam they can do here over at the garage side. Maybe they can take out the good old Sentinels.
No op this time for UGS.
Should have it in the back. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Got so much money anyway. They can afford 2 big ones in the game. First ship, of course, this might be expected by Zercus at this point because he's been playing this angle in a long for couple of times now. Flash 2 come through, but it's not gonna spot anyone as of yet because Garage seems to be the target for Zercus now.
Against the Odin,
Oh,
and
no.
hey, that's the Odin power disrupt immediately from the shadows. Looking for more information. He spotted there's one in the corner. He's probably gonna span it out, but he heard the steps come in, so now he's gonna be a bit more careful. Remember, this is Kaz alive, and he has Empress mode. This is gonna be the big ultimate that needs to open up, but he's about to peek into the hands of Eugene S.
2 members for that matter. Flashpoint at the ready for good always, just for good measure as well. It's not like Eugene S needs it. He's been absolutely on point with the shots all night long. Time is slowly ticking away for Zercus, so they have to commit to a site now
30
while they
seconds
can.
left.
It seems like they only have 2 options, and that's C and B site.
Here.
I'm not sure if C is the best option right here because 3 members are there for Reform. Let's see if Eugene S though can double up on the man advantage.
Last player
Not.
standing.
It's actually Nazmi and
Spike
Disrupt
down, C.
who picks up 3 easy kills, and Kas alone, an island right
Seconds
now.
left.
Does get a headshot off, but no Devour available means he'll be stuck with 10 health and just a pipe dream. 11-1 is going to be the score going into the second half. There's just no way Zercus can bounce
Switching
back from
sides.
this. Gotta be honest here again.
Yeah, now we're for sure, right? This time is for sure. But hey, Reform eSports looking like they've got so much good, right, on the communication. They're so well onto it. Disrupt pulling out the paranoia. Nasby peeking into them, and as well as the garage side just looking from the back. And 11-1 is the final score of the first half. Zercus eSports are choked down. So, and especially since they're gonna have to play on the defending side of Haven, so they need to play out the strats right here and now because they need 10 rounds, something like Reform eSports just did.
Well, at least it's not match point yet, so they got that
Right
going
here.
for them. A luxury that Reform did not have going into the second half. There's latter stages of the second half in the second game,
Enemy mark.
but a heck of a lot of work ahead of them as Kas is
Spike
there for the
down,
first
B.
touch. Eugene a little bit overzealous with that tailwind. And they're gonna TP. They have to push right here because, as he's mentioned, the spike is all the way down in the hands of Kas and Reply. They're not gonna give this up at all. Cons from behind as well. Picks up one. Red
enemy
Turf is
remaining.
good for another. And they're just mowing them all down. Gudur's is the last one standing. He's from the lurk and he doesn't even get the second kill off. Frame gets the second round for ZC. And they're gonna get the third one for sure in the next one.
I like how slow you went there for sure. But hey, you know, Zercus eSports, they played it. They changed up the pace. Reform eSports, they were playing a little too slow there because they were waiting for Gadors to scooch over, sneak from C side, especially since they was able to sneak past the Killjoy turret. Because of that, Nasby didn't even know he was, oh, not Nasby, Reply didn't even know he was right there. And because of that, he gets the frag, but that's all he's gonna get, all the ones.
That's true. Konzo with a Guardian looking pretty confident in and of itself.
Yeah.
But GGNS and Disrupt do have those one-tap machines for themselves as well. With Sheriff's apiece. Oh, look at this. Oh, so far forward, Cons on that Guardian, as you mentioned. 4 members against, and that's a flashpoint at the ready as well. He gets concussed and has to tail with the way, but from the right side is where it is, and he's gonna spot 2 out. Easy taps as Cass is there to back them all out. No answer back from Reform. This is just the eco flawless going in the way. Well, not the eco flawless, but the bonus flawless going in the way of Zercus.
Yep, and that will just be the cleanup, the eco cleanup. Reform eSports will be opting to buy up the rifles now, although Disrupt will just end Worship as well, opting for just the light shields because how expensive their utilities are as an Agent, Omen, and Sova. But Zercus eSports, I'm curious to how they will deal with this bonus round now, because if we look at the telegraph, this should be Reform eSports round, but Zercus eSports, they do not want to give up any of their rounds at this point. 11-3 right now, still in favor of Reform eSports, and Reform just got their gun upgrades.
See if Reform are gonna turn things up a notch, momentum-wise, or speed-wise, that is. It seems like they will, because taking control of A-Long and sewers as well with that Owl drone. But they're making a lot of noise though, so this might potentially be just a bait and switch. But the spike is being paraded. Gotta be careful here, Reform, because everyone from Zercus slowly making their way down here.
Yes, at the same time, they do have red nerves, and as well as Reply, making sure that they back up because the rotations aren't just back in there. But there we go, with that spot for Khan, still gets the shot in. Eugene is unable to connect the spray, and that brings back a lot more of the rotations. Now, Reform eSports, they've got to double think their steps here because there's so many holding down the grounds for Zercus eSports here in this A side.
They gotta not let the upgrade go through though for Zercus, which means they have to hang about in the area with one lurk from sewers. Ooh. Oh, it's a 4-on-3 on this side, and they're actually winning it for now. Cass is only good for 1, meaning we're down to a 3-on-3. Plant going through. Lineups will be there actually to try and stop it from happening, but it's a little bit too late. Disrupt's already there for the post plant. It's a 2-on-3 now.
Yes, and it's gonna be not looking good for Zercus eSports. This looks like it's gonna be match point for Reform eSports.
Yeah.
This should
Looks
be
like.
right. That's the keyword right now. And the corner's not there. And there we go. There's a pistol on the doors. The power of the breeze to slow down the push, but doesn't matter because Reply just pushes right through it. And now Reply's not done with his Spectre running and got into down.
Oh.
This should have been the round for Reform eSports, but Zercus eSports take it back.
That's new in my vocabulary. It should have been. Okay. It should have been. But hey, Reform, they walk off of that, licking their wounds. They got 0 creds this time. I'm actually quite surprised once more that Zercus were able to pull through off of that despite not having a lot of firepower and having a man deficit as well. And Reform, they're getting a run for their money. They've had such a good run so far in this game, and they've never been shaken this much until this round. So I wonder what they're gonna bring out in the next one, possibly even this one because
Yes, again, it should be the round for Zercus eSports. You do see Cons as well with this operator. Kaz opening it up that early on with the alarm bot giving some cover as well, and the Devar and this power of Vayna when you try to push him up, as well as Cons chiming it in with the operator in the middle side. So yeah, this is definitely just a cleanup for Zercus eSports. This is looking like a deja vu of our map 2.
You know what, Ken?
Right there.
You know what I'm thinking?
Right
Yeah,
there.
what
I'm
are you
getting
thinking?
comfortable here. I'm sitting down.
Going out.
I am strapping myself in because this might be another long ride here. Up in the hands of Cons now. That's doing the work for Zercus.
Last player
There
standing.
you go, Cass.
Spike down
Doesn't even
mid.
permit the tap from the Marshall. Next one, Disrupt doesn't get it either. Flawless round for Zercus. And Cass, he's looking online here.
Yep, Kaz just cheesing it in with the Kaz over onto the shots with the 4K for him and an Empress already on the ready with the ultimate for her. And at the same time, from the other side, Nazmi does have the lockdown ready as well. It's still 2 ultimate orbs away for Prey to get the Hunter's Fury to try and counter it out. So this might be the round for them to use it and secure the site. Now they just have to worry about the post plant.
Might be. Yeah, that's another way of putting it. Should be, might be. But let's see. No op to work with for Eugene S, but that's to be expected because it's on the attacking side. Spotted out the op as well, but they're looking on the turret reform. Looking to split A site still as the Aldrone spots one of them out. Shock Dart will be there as well. Eugene S now has to push. Woo! Taken out Cass through the cloud burst as well. Picks up Worship, and that's the concuss working against Nasmi as the Cass. Good for 2. And Reform, the assault is completely falling apart. At least they'll be able to get one courtesy of Disrupt. Another for that matter. But it's just too much against him. And Zercus, well, they're just not giving anything on this defensive side. And Reform, they're faltering.
Yeah, that was a nice try to put in some damage from Disrupt with the trigger discipline under the pressure. But that's all he's gonna get, and now they're back on another eco round. We almost saw the lockdown come in, but unfortunately for them, that shock dart coming out from Prem was just perfect, and Eugene S couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's a bit questionable if you ask me that Reform decided to push that despite spotting the operator.
Scanning
Why
ahead.
they weren't punished by the op, but by the shock darts. But still around it. Got pushed from behind. Cass gets Nasty off guard. Lowers will be there for the response against Reply, who has a beautiful swing on that. But it's still an iffy buy for Reform, all things considered, and they've got the man disadvantage as well, despite folks working for them. Hold that thought though. Scott falls, the off shot doesn't connect.
Spike down.
1 versus
C.
3 is where we're at right now. He gets attacked.
One
as well.
enemy
At least they
remaining.
get the but this Rocky goes massive with the Bulldog. And at the end of the day, things pan out as they should. Circus 7 to 11. Yeah.
So far, the defending sides from both of these teams just working out in their favor. The momentum and the streak is there. That was just the eco for Reform Esports. So they're going to be very happy getting a lot more than half of Zercus Esports bank. But remember, it's still Zercus Esports on a streak, and their streak is giving them enough bank to work out at least 3 more rounds, starting with this one.
Zercus got 3 odds. 2 big ones for that matter, and no lockdown to respond from Nazmi, so this might be it. Might be it. For, Reform, who does have 4 ults to their name.
Red
But,
Nerf spraying down the middle as well. But here comes
Hunter
Hunter
3 actually committed early on by Worship. Doesn't get the tag on anyone. It does actually, but doesn't get any kills. But Eugene S, that permits the play onto C site, and this is gonna have to be the post plant. I remember Replay has got that lockdown out already, and the kills going in his way as well. They can't go for this plant yet.
There we go. Finally, the plant comes in, and now it's a retake situation coming out for Zercus Esports. They've got the lockdown prepared. There it is. Gadors has the Rolling Thunder just in case he wants to slow down this push, but oh no, 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 no. Rolling Thunder on the use. Dismiss is there, but he will not be able to get anything else from that. Reform Esports, they get 2 players detained, and Kaz will get 2 easy kills as well. Disrupt now on a 1 versus 3, and he will be unable to get the shot in. It's going to be another round for Zercus Esports, a very expensive one for Reform.
They used 3 ultimates in that round. Reform to no avail. Oh man. I was saying it earlier, they could not go for the plant without baiting out that lockdown, because remember, they committed the Hunter's Fury early for Worship, which means that they couldn't use it as a response. But decided to pull through with it, and they got punished big time for it. And a bit of a mishap as well for Worship, not getting the shots off, unfortunately, in Garage. Could have been massive right there. Window slowly closing for Reform. They're still 3 rounds ahead, don't get me wrong. But Zercus is like unstoppable.
Yeah, it is Eugene S. He's got the Blade Storm, so he's going to be the man of the hour for this round here. Eugene S has to go big, and then he has to take out the corner, though. That's Cass holding down, as the Reyna as well, with 2 Leers. He hears the don't come out, so he's going to be popping away there. So it's just going to be Cons with this operator, looking to see some action. Maybe he can get a frag out. Looks like the jump comes in from Eugene S. Cons will be unable to get the flick in, but both of them have... actually, it's only Eugene S who gets tagged down and gets shot by the leg. So this man, he's going to be floating around as a jet.
He's limping about with 30 health. At least he wasn't taken out. And remember, he's basically the one with the most firepower in the RFM side right now. So that's pretty good if you ask me, that he did not fall off of that. Could potentially get a couple of kills here and there with that Blade Storm. Going down to see sight now without any sound cue. A single tap is all it takes to take care of BTS. And Retnerf is still holding strong. He finally gets traded out.
One
But the
enemy
Nano
remaining.
is out to help
30
him out.
seconds
Reply.
left.
Good for another with a 1-tap. It's all down to Nasmi now with just the Sheriff. But an op holding him down.
Delete.
He can get one at least, but not much after that. And it's going to be 9-11 in favor still, of course, of RFM, but slowly slipping out of their hands this game.
Yep, here we go. Timeout has been put out here for Reform Esports, because if I'm looking at the math here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't really do math. I just counted to 8. 8 rounds on the streak for Zercus Esports right now. Only 2 rounds left. Okay, there's the math. 2 rounds to close the map and equalize the score, and they still have 1 round to spare here before Reform Esports goes to match point. With this timeout, they should be able to huddle up and gather their thoughts here, because this next one is going to be their buy round, and their buy round is going to be a very important round for them, because they also have no ultimates to play with, so they're going to be playing dry with just the utilities on use, while Zercus Esports, they're sitting with a Cosmic Divide for post-plan situation.
That's true, but again, have I told you about our sponsors? This tournament is co-organized by Cyberport, and of course we've got a giveaway as well that's sponsored by Vertigear and Code the Shop. For our folks watching from Singapore, make sure to type !giveaway for a chance to win a free Vertigear chair. So make sure to not miss that chance.
Yep. Not only folks in Singapore, it could be folks globally around the world as well. Code the Shop's giveaway Valorant points. 5 USD, 20 USD dollars worth of points. 5 people will be able to get that, and then 1 lucky winner will get 100 USD dollars worth of Valorant points. And now here we go, going back to the game. And as we said it, I know I'm saying dollars twice, alright? You don't have to laugh about it.
I'm sorry again. Here we go. Eugene S taking the charge down in A side. Gonna claim that real estate now. Adig is spots out playing. Task will be there for the response. Still Lear's available, and Quick dismisses to safety. 1 more kill, and that's the Empress available in this 4 versus 4. Definitely something to watch out for in the post plant. Despite being planted by Worship eventually. Cosmic Divide will be there preemptively. Here goes the post plant.
Yep, Gadores is still live and kicking here on this A side, so they should be able to slow down this push alongside the Paranoia. There you have it. That slows down the push. Gives enough time for this Cosmic Divide, but here we go. Reform Esports finally showing up here after this timeout. They bursted out into this A side. Zercus Esports unable to respond quick enough. With that, they get their match point, and now all they need is 1 more for Reform Esports to win their round. They will still have a bank to play with, and Zercus Esports also as well.
You know, again, funny that you mentioned that all they need is 1 round, because where have I seen this before? I feel like I've seen this before. This is looking like deja vu here, but
just like map 2, right?
yeah. But Reform, as you mentioned, at least now they've got the pressure point against Zercus. All they gotta do is win a singular round, and slot is theirs for the taking in the grand finals. So, and quite interesting to me that they actually slowed things down a little bit, considering, well, they don't have any ults to work with. But here we go. It's Frame to start things strong. Eugene S with a similar strat as the last time, as he picks up 2. Nasty makes it 3. And Reform, they're all set in this post plan. This should go their way.
Yeah, looking like the timeout definitely worked finally in their favor. They finally gathered their groove. and they have fixed up their positioning, able to reply to where Zercus eSports have been playing all this time. So now it's Red Nerp and Reply left alone. They've got the full Vandals, but they need to kill at least
One
2
enemy
each
remaining.
to try and take them out. Speaking of,
You should
Nazmi
run.
takes out Reply, so now it's all down to Red Nerf. And look at all these ultimates being used. Red Nerf is just getting pummeled down.
Attackers
Looking like
win.
Reform Esports. Congratulations to them. They finally close out Map 3.
There you have it, folks. We have our grand finalists, and it's going to be Reform versus S2 Esports tomorrow. That is, so make sure to stay tuned to that. But this game, man, this series, I mean, the entirety of this tournament, not just this week, but last week as well. All of the teams have been so closely matched. I expect tomorrow to be no different.
Yeah, to be no less at all. My name is Gen, and I'm here with Data. We have been your casters for tonight. Semifinals are over. Look forward to tomorrow, our grand finals of KJC Updraft Season 1, Week 2.
Yeah. See you guys tomorrow for the grand finals.